Hello, hello. I hope you guys are all having a great fucking night. How are you tonight? Let me open up my actual I gotta actually open up the stream because I can't even see the screen because I did not plan ahead. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. My name is Kai. You probably already know that. I hope my sound levels are okay. Let me know if they're not. With us tonight, we've got Arson Cross on the tech. Say hello, Arson, and then talk a little bit so people can check your levels. What? You sexy fucking beast, you? All right.
Yep. No. There we go.
That's me. That's me. Hold on.
I've unmuted myself.
There we go. All right. That's muted. Unmute. Okay.
Potato peelers.
Let's see. Tweaked. Hop in with some sound check.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday night. I think everybody might know what we're going to be talking about tonight, but I think everybody's going to be excited.
That's right. We've got No Man's Sky news for you. All right. Also, we've got two guests with us. Yeah. Also, we've got two guests with us. We've got fucking Operation Ida in the house, moving mountains, drinking heavily. This shit is good. Ninj, say hello to the people and then talk for a little bit for sound check.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here. I'm, well, more than glad to be here.
And everyone, make sure later on that you ask Ninj about his personal gratification device that makes a buzzing noise. It's just ask him later. Don't worry about it. And we've got BlakeA in the house. Say hello and talk a little bit, Blake.
How's it going? Happy Friday. I hope all of you are doing well, staying cool, staying safe, and having fun.
Fantastic. All right. So far I've heard my sound is good from Nolan. I've heard Arson muted, Arson fine, okay. Tweaked fine. Nolan is our fucking sound check guy. Dude, you're a beast. Thank you.
He's a
Ninja's
monster.
fine, little loud, but okay, fine. It's all right. We turn British people up on purpose because they're polite, unlike us Americans. So Blake is fine, little static, okay. All right. Restarted? No? I don't. We've just gone straight. I'm a little confused.
Just going straight, doing our sound checks.
All right, so sound checks are out of the way and seems good. Winter Mute, hello all. Winter Mute first again. God damn. Tweaked with the 07. Commander Abel Airy. That motherfucker can run missions like a goddamn beast. Representing the fucking Black Sky Legion. Big salute. Everybody salute right now to Abel Airy. That guy is a beast. We got Arson Cross. We got Tony Witt. Yo, hey, Tony Witt. We got Nolan Sester, our sound guy. We got DH397 War. Kill. I love that fucking guy, man. That fucking guy is like a beast for the Dark Wheel. He runs Dark Wheel missions like you would not believe. We got Project Wolf Dragon. Project Wolf Dragon is the Sergeant at Arms for the Black Sky Legion, and that motherfucker is making waves. He is cracking heads and getting shit done. He keeps the troops in line. I love that dude. Let me tell you something. Project Wolf Dragon, he's like Wolf versus Dragon in Discord. So that
Wolf Dragon VS.
Well. Yeah, VS. But he, the guy that's trying to interview us for Sagittarius Eye magazine, M. Lehman, he's like, yeah, I want to do a piece on you and this, that, and the other and whatever. And I'm like, dude, don't do it on me. Do it on the people that are doing like the heavy lifting day to day. I already get more than enough fucking ego stroking in this show and other places. I don't need it, man. Like, I want to highlight all of the people like DH397 and Abel Airy and Project Wolf Dragon and like all of these guys that are just killing it for the Dark Wheel project. So I was like, can we scrap this whole story? Because it was like, okay, a story on me. And it's like, can we scrap this? And can you maybe focus on the other guys and not me? And he was like, well, if you want to. And I was like, yeah, I want to. And I know Wolf Dragon already reached out. DH397, reach out to M. Lehman. I'll get you the information on the Discord. Reach out to him because you need to definitely be highlighted with all the work that you've done, and Able Area as well. In fact, contact Wolf Dragon, because he's kind of, I think, sort of coordinating a lot of the stuff with M. Layman now, and I think that would really be good for you guys to get the spotlight. I don't need it. I get more than enough of that shit. Hawkenforge, good evening, everyone. Hello to you. Single Malt Scotty, I love your fucking name, bro. Your name every week makes me smile. Commander Fearless 07, hello to you, sir. Broken Juan, your name is another one of those that every week makes me smile. Vic Viper, I dig that. 07. Quadrivium Resonance 07. Crew stoked. Right? Tonight is going to be a good night. Let's see. Commander McPherson, another guy getting it done. Good evening, everyone. Excited for the show. Commander McPherson is with us. He is from the Loose Screws group, and he is a fucking awesome dude. Let's see here. We've got... I lost my place. This is what happens when you drink heavily right before the show. All right, Nolan Sester. Okay, good. Fearless. All right, Biotic Keen, another guy. That dude runs missions like crazy. Rambling Engineer, Operation Ida represent. Absolutely, Op Ida is the key. And don't get it confused with Operation IDA. It's two different things. We'll talk about that shortly. Commander Fearless. All right. I rewinded by accident. No worries, bro. You sound good. SP4H. How you doing, Spa? Josh Burke. Let's do this, people. All right. Everybody smiling. All right. Soul Cat 32. Hello. Thank you. Welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy it. Van Otter. Every time I see Van Otter, I wonder, is that the Van Otter that did like Van Otter Gaming, that he has like a YouTube channel where he used to do stuff like, I don't know, all kinds of mobile games and other games. Good shit, man. I kind of hope that he is that Van Otter. If not, that's okay. No, that's all right. No worries. All right. So we've said hello to everyone. I want to give a quick heads up, just a little sneak. We are going to be focusing very, very heavily tonight on all of the Frontier news. But next week, we're going to start with some more giveaway stuff, and we're going to have like more time on some side bullshit. Definitely want to highlight. We've got codes and stuff to give away. So please join us next week as well, because there's going to be some more stuff for you. All right. Archer M. Sterling, the man. Phrasing. Fucking love it. All right. I think we're ready to go. Sound checks are good. I've said hi to everybody. Arson, mute the mics and kick it off.
You got it.
Previously on Elite Week.
You know, we're sitting on 4 million pounds of fuel, one nuclear weapon, and a thing that has 270,000 moving parts built by the lowest bidder. Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
I love you.
I know.
Knives? These aren't knives. These are fine surgical instruments.
What I want is chicken. No chicken, back of the line.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Elite Week, episode 42, Friday, October 2nd, 2020, Galactic Water Cooler. I am Kai Zen, and we are feeling good tonight. With me tonight is Arson Cross on the tech. Say hello to the beautiful people, Arson.
Hello, hello. I am here to ignite your personal narrative.
Oh, take a shot, everybody. Also with us, we got Tweet74 in the house from OPIC. Say hello, Tweet.
Hello, everybody. Friday night, we made it, and I am excited to get into this tonight.
Absolutely. We do not have Roy with us tonight. He is traveling with the family, but he'll be back with us next week. But what we do have is Operation Ida in the house. Say hello, Ninj, from Operation Ida.
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies, and, well, the rest of you.
Undecided. Right on. And we also have Blake. Say hello, Blake.
Hello, humans. Happy Friday. A pleasure to be here.
I dig that, man. You're going with the old Dr. Kai, greetings, humans. Yeah, I dig that. I like that shit. That's a throwback. I dig it. All right, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's just get right to it. Right off the bat, let's go ahead and say the cover art was from Damned Huge Perimeter. Gonna speed it up a bit. Those relays need recharging. Blizzard incoming by Commander Fosteig. That shit is legit. Commander Fosteig makes some amazing Elite Dangerous art. So, yeah, we just want to shout that out. The opening song tonight was, let's see. Well, we had our pre-stream, obviously, from Commander Orange Phoenix of the SPVFA. Definitely check out his stuff. And the opening song was Albanese by Debussy. And the closing song will be Unexplored Moon by Miguel Johnson from his new album. So we'll be talking about that a little bit shortly. So this week, on the same day, I think it was Tuesday, different years, both Star Trek The Next Generation had its first episode, and the first Canadian satellite went up. So big salute to those guys, all of them. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to NL Hate. He called out my comment during the live stream that Frontier did when they had the guy on that does the animation stuff. People, they were saying, like, do you have any questions about animation? And I wrote in the chat, yeah, how did you guys do the motion cap animation for the Thargoids? And Steven read it and had a good chuckle. And NL Hate was watching the stream and called it out. So I just wanted to give him a big salute. All right. Arson, why don't you go ahead and hit our promo stuff?
So if you're listening to us on the podcast and would like to see the live show and visuals, you can check us out at youtube.com/Elite Week. If you're watching us on YouTube and would like to know how to catch our podcast, check out anchor.fm/Elite Week. For sending us your thoughts by email, you can reach us at eliteweek3306@gmail.com. Our very active and growing Elite Week Discord can be found at tinyurl.com/Elite Week Discord, where you can check out our community feedback, resources on turning the wheel, and real-time updates about Elite from a variety of content creators. In addition to the Discord community feedback channel, feel free to write in our YouTube comments anything about the topic of the week, as well as anything else you'd like to share. We'd love to hear from you. Also on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe and click on the bell. It really helps us out. We record live on YouTube every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, midnight UTC, so come and join in on the fun. If you're listening to us on the podcast, please make sure to rate and review us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever platform you use. And let us know if there's a format you want us to look into. We don't do Patreon, so save your money and just tell your friends about the show.
Right on. All right, so let's start right away with the guest interview. We've got Operation Ida in the house. And again, that's not to be mistaken with Operation IDA, two different things. Commander Ninj and Blake, why don't you guys start off by telling us a little bit about Operation Ida, the history of Operation Ida. I will preface this by saying that we have in the show notes the link to the website, the link to the guide to station repair on ED tutorials, the Discord for Operation Ida, and the Twitter account for Operation Ida. So you guys should check the show notes for all of that information so that you can get in touch with Op Ida and, get involved in that. So Ninj, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about the history of Operation Ida.
That's where to start.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. I mean, I think you guys started when the Thargoids were attacking stations, and you guys were like, we need to get out there and start getting them repaired, right?
Yeah, it's been a very, very long time ago. Goddamn. Back in those days, I used to be a lot more active. I remember running around just working out where the rare commodities could be actually found.
Right on, right on. And since then, you guys have added on quite a few people, yeah?
A few people, and that's the thing I love about Operation Ida. I have an absolutely amazing community behind me, and an even better staff community. These guys keep the stuff running from day to day. We have spreadsheets, we have algorithms, we have a website. These are things I could not have even imagined when we started. All we were doing was we're reacting to the fact that, hang on a minute, someone needs to step up and repair stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff has moved on a lot since then.
So, for a long time, you guys were way, way, way sort of in the pocket. You guys had a massive backlog of repairs to do for stations when the Thargoids were going super, super hot and heavy. And then you guys sort of, finally just within the last month or so, got caught up, got the last of the stations back fully repaired, right?
Yep.
Mostly, yes.
That took a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
From day one, we had to introduce lots of different player groups to the fact that actually everybody has to work on one target at once.
Right, right. And after finally working through all of the backlog of getting all of the stations caught up, you guys had like a month or so break, and then just within the last couple of weeks, Frontier threw a little whammy at you. They had a bunch of stations that were attacked at least nominally by the NMLA. Remains to be seen how that story is going to work out, whether that's a legit leftist attack or some false flag event. But the end result is the same to you guys. There was a bunch of stations that had Thargoid damage, even though they weren't attacked by Thargoids. And you guys have already, in the very first week of working on that, because so first off, you couldn't do any repairs for the most part, right? While the stations were still burning or whatever, like it had to be focused on the rescues. But then the last of the rescues just happened last week, and in the first week, you guys already have like 4 stations like fully repaired, and you guys are working at it, yeah.
I mean, we've got the infrastructure in place at the end of the day. We've been doing repairs for almost 2 years, Blake?
20 months or so.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to brag, but we're experts on this. Beautiful. It was a nice welcome break for Frontier to turn around and say, hang on a minute, guys. Actually, you've got something to do. Once again.
Right on. So let me ask you a question. I have a little pet theory. I've had it for a while, that we're going to have a very thargy very thargy Halloween. It's going to be super, super spooky thargy. And it's going to be a lot of shit. It's going to go south. When that happens, are you guys ready to meet that challenge? Are you guys excited to get back into the Thargoid restoration business?
In 2 words, my friend, hell yes.
All right, all right. Well, Frontier, you heard it. I happen to know that we have some listeners from Frontier staff, so you heard it here. These guys are ready. Bring it on. I'm ready for a Thargy Halloween. I hope you guys all are as well.
We've
So-
been
go ahead.
perfecting. We've been perfecting what we did for 2 years. We've been. I mean, the introduction of carriers was the real break. That is literally what finished off things much sooner than anyone could have absolutely anticipated.
I mean, the abilities of carriers are just such a force multiplier if you were an organized unit that knows what you're doing, which clearly Operation Ida is. You know, that gives you so much more force projection capability. Yeah.
Absolutely. Productivity went up by 50% when the carriers came out, and we didn't think it would even do that.
Awesome. Blake, can you tell me a little bit about that guide that you wrote up on ED tutorials?
Yeah, we have a good friend in Exegius, and his right-hand man, Electric Nacho, contacted us and said, would we like to make a tutorial? So absolutely, we would love to make a tutorial on station repair and make it accessible by anyone who would prefer to read it out rather than hear it. And they can go through that guide at their own pace and get all the information they need there.
Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I took a look at it, and it starts with like literally just explaining like, well, what is this? And then what are the steps and how does it work? And what do you need to do? And it really kind of gives you, for a brand new player who wants to get, sort of dug into that type of gameplay, that loop, it really does give you sort of a good overview and then a detailed step-by-step process on what you need to do. And one of the first things you need to do is get on that Operation Ida Discord and start talking to some people who will point you to the right direction, show you, this is the room you go into, here's how you interact with the bot, here's what you need to know, and sort of get you started, and you just go and start picking up your stuff and start making deliveries, yeah?
We are very pleased to have such a friendly, helping community of people. Yeah.
Fantastic. And can one of you guys tell me, I know there's always been a long-standing thing of Operation Ida and IDA. Can somebody sort of explain sort of the confusion there, just for people who haven't, don't know about it yet?
Yes. Ninj, can I take that?
Oh yeah.
There is the Independent Defense Agency, who is not any way related to us. But sometimes we get their space mail and we get theirs, back and forth. We've been crisscrossed, a little bit of confusion, but they would like to go by I.D.A., while we would like to go by Operation Ida with the DA lowercase.
And that Ida is in fact referring to a mountain in Greece, yeah?
Very much so. Out in the Pleiades Nebula, everything is Greek themed. You have Delphi, you have Atlas, you got some Greek influence going on. And Ninj, can you give us one or two sentences of the origin of the name?
Operation Ida is a major Greek theme. When Zeus shook Aegis over the Operation Ida, Mountain Ida, it was a major thing.
Right on. Right on. So I dig that. I like, because you're right. The Pleiades. Well, first off, the Pleiades itself. That's Greek, and then you've got, the seven sisters, and they're all Pleione and Asterope and Merope and yada yada yada. I dig that. All right, that's super awesome stuff. So
the mountain itself was over in Crete.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's still there. It's nothing to do with any independent groups. It is a mythological construct, and it is still there in real life.
Beautiful. So before we move on and get to the big frontier news of the week, let me ask you guys. This is your spotlight. I want to definitely highlight you guys. what do you, what statements do you want to make to the public? What do you want people to know? What do you want to hype? The floor is yours.
We like that we could bring in anybody of any different background to try out repair work for a time, and if they don't like it, that's totally fine. But if they love it and they find a purpose, well then that gives them enjoyment in the game. They found something that they like to do, and they get to keep playing. And we like to be able to facilitate people from different groups having fun in their own way. And it's really cool, the number of people that we get to meet doing this.
Yeah.
I've talked to a good number of people, and there's a lot of people that love different, there's people that I love racing, and that's my thing. And there's people that are like, I'm super huge into, combat, PvP, CZs, Hazreses or AX or whatever. But there are a lot of people that mine like crazy. And then when you talk to them about it, or they do like tons and tons of trade runs or whatever, and they're like, yeah, the combat thing, that's just not my thing. It's good for other people. It's just not for me. And then you say, well, like, okay, I think for those people, if they don't know about it, the opportunity to join Operation IDA and to just do your trucking, do your non-combat activities, but do it in a way where you have an opportunity to be a real hero, because you're, repairing things and getting stations back online to keep the infrastructure of the entire bubble, the entire BGS sort of underlying platform going. That is a thing that can give people like a real sense of meaning, I think, and a real sense of like, yeah, I did something to be proud of.
Absolutely. One of the major problems with trading in this game is generally trading means nothing. When you have an objective to work towards, when you have a group to work with it actually means something. And it's one of the reasons that we've got such a close-knit community. People get on with each other for a certain reason. We are all working towards the same objective. God damn, sometimes it's repetitive, sometimes it's boring. But when you've got friends, when you've got a common objective in mind, it becomes something absolutely different.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, and Blake, your closing words.
We don't need any contracts from you. We don't hire people to do any specific time slot of hauling or repair work. We have people come in and try it out, and if they don't like it, that's totally fine. But you can give it a try, and if you find a purpose, well then we'll be happy to have you.
Beautiful. Again, everybody, Operation IDA's Discord, their website, their link to their guide on ED tutorials, their Twitter, all of that's in the show notes. So come check them out, and for sure, get involved. I think everybody should give it a try, even if you just do it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And I think, like I said, be ready to give it a go coming up, because we're going to have a very thargy Halloween. I'm telling you, shit's about to jump off. All right. So stay with us, if you will, as we go on our drunken guide through the fucking galaxy and talk about whatever's going on. So next up, we've got the Dark Wheel. Dark Wheel. What's going on with the Dark Wheel? Well, just today, we expanded into LHS 397 from LTT 5455, and everything's looking good. We've already got Turjan sitting at 78 or 79%, 78.7%, and ready to expand as soon as the debuff wears off. So probably it'll be day after tomorrow that the debuff it'll be tomorrow that the debuff wears off, but because there's that 1 day delay, it will be day after tomorrow probably that Turjan shows as pending expansion, and that will be the jump that takes us into. Everything is looking good. We've already got HR 4979 is already well over 70%, and we've got 3 others that we can push into expansion with a day's notice. So we're pretty much planning on keeping this thing rolling in expansion for the foreseeable future. Everything is looking good. And yet, like I said, today, yet another system was added to the Dark Wheels list. So we're growing, and it's just at this point getting exponentially faster because we now have the capabilities to stay pretty much constantly in expansion. Arson, your thoughts on this? And of course on Operation Ida.
Well, I think what Operation Ida has been doing has been fantastic. There's really not another group like it, and I think people should definitely check it out. As far as the Dark Wheel stuff, more hype. I do feel like I'm personally in a little bit of a lull, but I'm super excited because we are nearing that test for Soul, and I can taste it. And
Right on. Right on. All right, Tweaked.
Yeah, getting into Soul, or at least finding out if that can happen. We've been waiting for a while now to get to this point, and we're almost there. You can almost taste it. Operation Ida, I can't say enough about what you guys do. And about the same time I hear that their station's burning halfway across the galaxy, the next thing I hear is that Operation Ida's already got them all repaired and taken care of, and no need to worry about anything. So props to you guys, and really enjoy what you guys do. And absolutely correct, Arson. There is no other group in the game like that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right. Blake, your thoughts on this Dark Wheel, Michigas?
Well, thank you guys. That was very nice. I'm silently curious of what's going to happen, how it'll turn out. I'd like to keep my expectations regarded and a little bit mellow, but I'm very curious of what's going to happen next.
I definitely get that. If I'm being entirely honest with you guys, my expectations for Soul and Lave are, it's just, okay, we're going to check this off the list. We're going to see whatever. Okay, fine. But my real high expectations, the one that I'm like, I'm trying to keep myself grounded, but like I'm secretly giddy for, is LFT 509. That's the one that I think is.
See, I'm personally just as excited for Soul, but not to necessarily get the Dark Wheel into Soul, just to find out whether or not it can happen, because we've always heard that a PMF, a player-based group, nobody can expand into Soul. So this is going to be a great test to prove that true or false one way or another. Either way, we get good info.
Absolutely. Ninj, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely honest, I don't know what to think.
I get it. I get it, man. Well, we'll see. We'll all find out shortly.
Yep.
All right. All right. So moving along here, I'm going to do these sort of abbreviated. We're going to do it super quick because we got to clear the decks for Frontier. But I did make a couple promises, and I'm going to make good on them. First off, Commander Phoebia has a video out. Sharona, hashtag SB4. SB4 stands for Speed Bowl 4. It is an awesome video that we cannot play for you because it's the whole thing cranking out that My Sharona song, which is a copyright claim, but it is a phenomenal video. It is in the show notes, and it has me hype as fuck for Speed Bowl 4. Super, super awesome. Go check it out. The next thing on the agenda, friend of the show, Miguel Johnson, has a new album out, Expedition Artemis, inspired by, the Project Artemis, the expedition that we're doing to go build a base on the moon and take humanity on our first step to the moon. Will be our first place where we have a actual manned presence, long term, not temporary. Nobody just coming to visit, plant the flag, and then fuck off, but people that are going to be living and working on the moon. And this is a huge step for us. You can see the album art on the screen. It looks beautiful, and let me tell you, it sounds beautiful. Our closing song will be from that album, and we, starting next week, will have giveaways for that album, along with some other giveaways that we have going on. So tune in live next week so that you can get a chance to win one. All right. So why don't we start with Arson? Your thoughts on the Commander Phoebia's My Sharona Speed Bowl commercial and the Miguel Johnson album?
Well, I'll start with Miguel Johnson's music. It's great. I love it. It's chill. As far as the Sharona video, I had watched that earlier today, and it was a riot. And I gotta say, he did an amazing editing job for some of the out of cockpit shots that really made it feel like you're cruising in that video. And I think he did a fantastic job.
Absolutely. Tweaked.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Some of those, the cockpit parts of those videos with that song that's copywritten, so we can't play the video, unfortunately. Good stuff. I suggest everybody go in there and check that out.
Absolutely. And Blake.
I always applaud good camera work, but that's about it.
Right on, right on. And Ninj. Ninj, are you there? Are you muted? I think we're having a little bit of a technical issue with Ninj.
I would like to say too, real quick, that Miguel Johnson album, that is some good space music there. It's just really good. We've had some of it on here. I think we'll probably do some more, but yeah, take a listen to that.
Right
Nobody
on.
forget about that Miguel Johnson album.
Absolutely. All right. So after that, we have the very next thing we have is the race. We've got BlackMAZE with race 5 highlights, the Hildeptu Rally Course 8-wheel drive endurance challenge. Arson, go ahead and throw that up on the screen. This was a crazy race. First off, it was an incredible race. Sgurr just is a speed demon. Just blew everyone away. Shaye Blackwood, of course, getting it done. We've got Osashes. So Sgurr came in first place. Shaye came in second. Osashes came in third. Crank Larson came in fourth. AlecTurner DNF'd. He had a rough, well, let's be honest, all of the commanders, with the possible exception of Sgurr, had a tough time with this one. This was a crazy, it was a short, tight course, and on that ice planet, and with the way that the rocks were distributed, everybody, mostly the ice planet, everybody was having a rough time. And at one point, Cranked like full on hit like a light pole at one of the bases. Obviously, Alec, who is a very good and very safe driver, had an unfortunate explosion type situation. And I mean, Shaye at one point came in right on had to repair, came in right on a like one of those pyramids. It was a crazy race where they were all flinging themselves around like crazy. I gotta say, the overall standings after this race is Shaye took the top spot again, pushing AlecTurner into second place. Osashes has a very solid hold on third, but Sgurr is in fourth place. Now, Sgurr has 50 points, okay, which, fourth place is fourth place. But I got to point out, Sgurr has only done 2 of the 6 races, and he's in fourth. He's got a solid fourth place. The 2 races that he has participated in out of the 6, he's come in first place handily. I got to say, if he was competing in every one of the races, maybe I'm wrong, but he seems to me like a very strong argument for first place. But the entire endurance challenge, the entire race series has been incredibly exciting, very compelling, phenomenally edited, well put together, great to watch. If you can go through and you can watch the entire series of races 1 through 5 right now and be ready for 1 through 6 right now and be ready for the last 2. But man, just I hope that they continue to do this. I hope that this becomes a tradition where it's either once a year or maybe even twice a year. You have like the 3306, winter challenge, which would be now, and then you have the 3307, say, spring challenge, and the 3307 winter challenge or whatever. These are amazing races. You need to go check them out, and I can't say this enough. I keep saying it. Frontier needs to get involved on this hype train because this shit is incredible. I feel a little guilty because last week we were so over busy. I didn't get to. We had the note for it, and I didn't get to it, but I definitely want to show them some love. All right, let's start with Arson. Do you have your thoughts on this crazy race series?
I don't have a whole lot to say except for, as usual, it's a spectacle and well worth the watch.
Beautiful. And Tweaked?
Consistency is what I go back to on this. Each and every one of these races is just as much fun and exciting to watch as the race before, and it doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. I hope they do make this an annual event, and just every year, this would be so much fun to watch.
No, not annual. Twice a year. Twice a year.
Biannual, and I couldn't agree more. FDev, get on board with this kind of thing. Let's start pumping this up.
Beautiful. Blake or Ninj, do you have anything to add on these races? I don't know if you follow the races at all.
No, I don't, but watching it, I think that is so cool. This is a great example of player-driven content and making your own path, forging your own, being creative, and I applaud the guys who are flying in one direction and looking out the other window at the same time. That is really cool.
Yeah, man. Head tracking is key for that. Although Shaye just recently got the head tracking. He's been doing it without it until like the last couple of months. That dude is a monster.
Nice.
Beautiful. All right. So next up we have Turjan Starstones, Princess Aisling Duval, Terror and Assassination. You know Turjan's work. He does amazing stuff. And this one was Turjana's, night talk show type thing. And they interviewed Princess Aisling, and she was, in mourning and yada, yada, yada. I just love Turjan stuff. I love machine stuff. I love Scorbius stuff. So I always want to hype them up and shout them out. So go check it out. The link to both the race and Turjan Starstone's interview is in the show notes. Does anybody have anything they want to hop in on the Turjan thing?
Yes, actually. I watched that like the day it came out, and I have to say, if Frontier is paying attention, that kind of content would be something amazing, and making sure to give content creators like Turjan more meat that they can use for that kind of content, please, because it was an amazing watch. It was super immersive in a really nerdy way, and I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah. Anybody else?
I'm a sucker for anything that allows me some more immersion into this universe, and that stuff's right up my alley. The high quality stuff.
100%. All right. So next up we have let's see here. We've got all of the Frontier news, and oh my God, was there some news this week. So from the very beginning, we've got we'll talk about the streams. We had 5 days ago, we had the Super Cruise news with Bruce and Art. 3 days ago, we had a surprise stream. Who pressed the button? So basically what happened was, and I'm going to just sort of paraphrase this, 3 days ago, somehow, some way, the Frontier dev diary got released for a very short time, then was marked to private, then people had captured it, and one person in particular was streaming it and memeing on it and whatnot. And of course, so Frontier had to look at it and go like, well, now what do we do? and they made the decision, well, fuck it, it's just put it out and let's just go. So they put it out early, a day early, and they did a live stream just a couple hours later, and it was completely off the cuff. And I got to give them a big salute because, yes, the release was unfortunate, but they rolled with it well. They put out a stream. They didn't really have all that much that they could say right then and there, but they just put out a stream to acknowledge it. Again, art, I feel like, is a breath of fresh air. It wasn't like previous things where it went out and then it was like, well, they just sort of, well, yeah, okay, well, yeah, we meant to put it out. It's like, no, they acknowledged the truth of the matter, and hey, it is what it is. It is all good. They followed that up yesterday with the Discovery Scanner Dev Diary 2 video. And, I'll reiterate, I don't like exactly calling these Discovery Scanners. I think they should come up with a different name for them or whatever, but they got their system and they're going with it. And the video that they put out yesterday was actually good. The stream was a good stream talking about the video, and they did give out some pieces of information which we will get into. But it was good stuff. So those are the 3 streams, and then obviously their big release was the video, the Dev Diary 2 itself. And the Dev Diary 2, we put out Elite Week. I put out a video on it just last night. That was Elite Week episode 41, which is why this one is 42. And in that video, I broke down sort of frame by frame and pointed out all kinds of things that I saw and noticed about the Dev Diary that I thought that maybe people might have missed. Things from the details that I read out on the mission board to the signage overhead at the main concourse where it shows the different locations, and I broke down what those locations were. I gave you sort of a walkthrough of the area. I showed things in the concept art that people might not have seen, and we talked about things, and including even talking about the part where like they come across the window in Astor's Hope, and you can look out there and see more buildings up the hill, which is like a whole other part of this, settlement, or things like the drop box where that was showed in a concept art as another location that I think people might have missed, or the weird that the guy's got some kind of, I don't know if it's a visor or if it's attached to like a helmet, or he's wearing it on the side of his head or whatever, but he's got some weird sort of scanner equipment on the right side as he's walking down the hallway. And you have to, I literally was like zooming in and playing it over like over and over and over and looking like, okay, let's look right at this part. What is this on the side of this guy's head here that you can see right there? That guy that's in the hallway, on the side of his head, you can see a thing that it's like, it looks almost to me like that Borg, how the Borg from Star Trek had that thing on the side of their head and it came down to a visor over their eyes. But you can see him for like 3 seconds walking down that hall, and you can see the thing moving along the side there. It's like, what is that? There's just a lot of stuff to that original video. So why don't we start and just have an open discussion about the Dev Diary itself. Arson, why don't you give me your thoughts about the Dev Diary and some of those details that I just highlighted, all of which are covered in Elite Week 41, that you can go now or go later and watch and see a detailed breakdown second by second.
Sploosh is where I'm gonna start. For me, the Dev Diary, when I saw it, I was like, oh, holy crap. My immediate reaction was, oh my god, it looks so much like what Star Citizen has, except to me, so much better because I like Elite's art style more. But the whole thing was fantastic. For me, Everything really started to come together, though, when they did the Discovery Scanner episode, which I'm going to kind of disagree with you a little bit on, Kai. In comparison to the Discovery Scanner that they did for the first Dev Diary, where they left Steven pretty much hanging by himself, this one, for something that they did entirely work from home, was phenomenal to me. I do want the whole studio thing, but, Rona's going to Rona. But the thing that really, really, really stuck out to me was during that Discovery Scanner when they were talking about NPC interactions. The like talking about people watching, and you can see in kind of some of the footage where people are going in and moving about. You don't get a whole lot of it, though. A lot of the NPCs are idle, but they're talking about people having the ability to look at what's happening and kind of make it up what's stories like what you do in real life when you may be sitting in a restaurant watching somebody walk by. Like that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh. The background sim driven personalities. I can't wait to find out what my faction's NPCs act and look like. That's going to be interesting. But I could gush mindlessly, so I'm going to let somebody else take a turn and I'll come back later.
All right, Blake, how about we bring in your thoughts on all this?
Two mental images come to mind. Number one, I'm sitting down in the space bar, waiting for a friend. I finally see him come through the mail slot from my seat on the cocktail lounge. And I dial him up and said, "You're late." The next thing I think about is the background sim-driven NPC personalities. And I want to see some of the pirate characters all tattooed up, see what they behave like.
Right on. You guys are full on belter loaders. I dig it. All right. Ninj, you have any thoughts on the Dev Diary? I think Ninj might still be having technical difficulties. No worries. Tweet.
Yeah, where do I start with this? This, right from the opening scene where you see him standing in that little cafe/bar, watching the ships come in the station live, and they have said that is a thing. You're going to sit there and whatever comes in the station, you're going to see that, as you said, the NPCs taking on the personality and representing the faction that owns it. So am I going to be able to pick like OPIX uniforms and stuff like that? There's so much to look at with this, but my overall sentiment with it was this is exactly what I was expecting or what I was hoping Odyssey would be. The whole time I've played Elite Dangerous, as much as I love this game, I've always had one thought that I feel like when I'm going to the station, it's empty. When I'm going over these planets, they're empty, even though it says there's 5 billion population. That's not going to be a thing anymore. Now we're going to land at these stations and there's going to be life all over the place. And I couldn't be more excited.
Right on, 100%. So I'm going to go over a couple more things and just take a few minutes to go over this. I want to make sure, like I said, again, the full absolute shebang is there on episode 41. But I just want to, for the people that are here tonight, I want to highlight some stuff. First off, Pierce Jackson, game director, 30 Seconds In, was talking about, and we really embrace that with Odyssey, you have transposed all of the careers back down onto an on-foot experience. So let's think about that for a minute. Combat on foot. What is combat on foot going to be like? Well, obviously FPS. Okay, that needs no further explanation. There's lots of possibilities. We could talk for hours on all of the possibilities, but you get what that is. Exploration. So you're talking about exploring on foot. You're talking about bioscanning. You're talking about finding all sorts of different things and getting your first boots on a planet, all of those, achievements and whatnot. Also, you're talking about exploring some of these wrecks. You might come across the thing that's just out there and whatever. Trade, okay? They've talked about the fact that you can steal from these settlements and put stuff on the black market. Obviously, there's going to be missions and stuff to do. So for mission running, you're going to have missions on foot. Some of the missions, they said, you're going to be sent to a settlement and you have to assassinate, one guy there. You have to stealthily sort of assassinate somebody, or you have to steal a thing. I'm not talking about just stealing to steal for the black market. I'm talking about a mission where they send you in and you have to sneak in and grab this one set of plans from some guy's desk or something and bring it back to the other guy so they're ready for, the invasion or whatever.
Steal his action figure.
Or what? Sure, whatever. That'll really throw them in a tizzy. And you also have the one huge sort of, so the new gameplay loop that they mentioned is scavenging. They said that basically the way this is going to work is an NPC is going to say, hey, I know about a wreck that's over that way, and it's, whatever. And they said, now they specifically said at one point in the Discover Scanner video, and this was interesting. I think this might have been a slip or whatever, but it was super interesting to me. They said, you can decide whether to fly your ship over to that location, or you might decide to take the shuttle bus, the taxi service there, which means that means you can actually have an opportunity. It's not just like, okay, flights going to London and Paris and whatever, but you could literally say like, yeah, no, I don't want a flight to London or Paris. I want a flight to these coordinates for this wreck. And they'll take you and drop you off there. That's now how the hell you're getting home. Ooh, I hope you got a bat phone and they make, I hope like Uber, you can just fucking dial in the information and they'll come pick you up. But that's super, super interesting. So, you've got all of that. In addition to that, they explained the way the gameplay loop for that is going to work. And they said, the mission giver will tell you, okay, I want you to go and like say, get the data core or whatever out of that ship because it has plans that you need. That you have to bring back and give to the guy, and he will give you the money. And the way that mission is going to work is you have sort of dialogue options where you can haggle, you can negotiate with them and be like, I want a little more or whatever. I don't know, whatever, however all that works, but we'll see. But you get all that stuff. You go out there, you get the data core, that's for them. But then you can also dig around through boxes, and they said some of them might be heavier boxes and take some work. There might be some mini game or some kind of I don't know, some sort of work that you have to do to access them. And then they said some of the other boxes or things might be locked. Now, lock could mean a lot of things. Lock to me means, a padlock. So maybe you need a torch or maybe you need some bolt cutters. Lock could be a computer. We're talking about the year 3306. So it could be some kind of a computer lock and you need some sort of a lock pick set, but it's like a digital version where, like in all the spy movies where the dude puts the little, connects the little lead here and lead there, and you see the little number scrolling, and then dip, 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 it unlocks, and then you open it, whatever. But all of that stuff, they said, that stuff the NPC doesn't want. He just wants the data core. So all of that stuff, you take it, and you can go and either, use it, you can go and store it, or you can drop it off someplace. And I think that this is the Dropbox location that was in the video. And with those, you can like turn it in for stuff like money, or you can turn it in, I guess, for like, okay, I've got these bits, I'm ready now to augment, kind of like materials. I'm ready to upgrade my suit, or I'm ready to, upgrade maybe my SRV. They haven't gotten into SRVs. They specifically avoided talking about them, but I will bet anyone right now who will take me up on the offer $5 that there's going to be at least another, if not several other types of SRVs for different activities. So scavenging seems super, super interesting. And they said that, and the other thing that they have not mentioned at all, we've had zero mention of, but let's be honest, if they say over and over that they have moved every possible sort of way of everything that you can do right now in the game, they've added a way to do it on foot. What's the biggest activity that most players have done for the last year? Anyone?
Mining.
Mining, yeah, and they have not touched at all the idea
Materials.
of mining on foot. So that's got to be. I'm telling you, that's going to be a whole dev diary. There's going to be a thing on mining. It's coming. There's no way that it's not. You cannot say with a straight face that we've transposed every activity you do right now in the game to on foot and not have mining. You just can't. So, yeah. And one last thing before I bring it around to a round of input from the guys. The suits. They explain that there are 3 types of suit. There's your combat suit, there's your exploration suit, and there's your scavenging suit. Now, all of the suits, the suits in this game are like your ships. So imagine now for Elite Dangerous Odyssey, there's 3 ships. There's, the combat ship, so let's say the Vet. There's the exploration ship, let's say the Crate Phantom. And there's the scavenging ship, or I guess let's say, business type ship. And we'll call that the cutter. Okay? So you're not going to have just, a vet. You're going to have your AX vet, and you're going to have your CZ vet, and you're going to have your, different kinds of vets, let's say. So the same way, there's no limit. Well, they haven't said the limit yet, but they said you're allowed to have multiples of each kinds of the suits. You can get bunches of them, and you can upgrade them in different ways. And they very specifically said on one of the streams that there are multiple ways to upgrade them. And Art was asked, one of the questions he was asked, will there be jetpacks? And Art, literally yesterday, he was asked, will there be jetpacks? And he said, specifically, yeah, of course. You saw him in the first dev diary. Oh, well, wait. We don't call them jetpacks per se, but there definitely are modules. He literally said the word module. So I'm telling you right now, your 3 types of suit that we know of so far, I think it's going to be just those 3 for now, but there may be another one, whatever, we'll see. But if there's these 3 kinds of suits, I might have 3 different combat suits. One of them is for one of them has a jetpack, and it's more of a scout ranger kind of combat suit, right? For your recon type combat. One of them is just beefier. It doesn't have a jetpack because that jetpack, man, uses up too much of the energy, and I need all of the energy on that suit to just be on the shields, which your suit will have shields, but it takes from the battery. And if your battery gets too low, your life support goes and you're dead. So it's all a big balancing game. So I might have 3 or 4 combat suits in my ship for different types of combat. I might have 3 or 4 exploration suits for different types of, different situations. Maybe on an ice planet, I'll handle things differently than on a rocky world or whatever. I might have 3 or 4 different engineering ones. One is for, maybe one of them isn't so much, 3 or 4 scavenging suit. Maybe one of them is more of an engineering type one that has some abilities. One of them is for, we don't know what the different problems you're going to tackle when you're doing these scavenging missions. Maybe when you're scavenging a wreck of an anaconda, it's way different than if you're scavenging the wreck of a Thargoid device, or if you're scavenging the wreck of a, I don't know, Asp Scout or something. Maybe different types of ships will have different types of defenses and different types of sort of systems that you have to deal with as an engineer, or as a scavenger. I keep saying engineer. And you'll have different ones. So they said it's not like you have one of whatever, and you're going to modify them on 2 different ways. You're going to modify them by modules, and you're going to modify them by upgrades. We're getting engineering on our suits. They haven't said it, but if you think we're not, you're fooling yourself, because that's a way that companies put you into spending lots of time on gameplay loops. So these are all the thoughts on the suits and the different aspects of gameplay. Arson, why don't you hop in on your thoughts on the different aspects of gameplay, the different sort of loops on foot, and the suits
Yeah,
and scavenging
absolutely.
specifically.
So scavenging, I am really, really excited for. I actually started out Elite in general by scavenging. The first thing that I did was grab myself a mission, wound up being to Hutton Orbital, 0.22 light years for my first flight.
Oh, Jesus.
The scale of the game and the hours it took to get there, though, is what ultimately sold me on it. I was hooked from that point. But I spent a lot of time as a result afterwards looking at signal sources because I saw a whole bunch of them along the way while I was on that flight. And I was like, these missions aren't paying me crap, but I can drop in here and grab some cargo and what have you. And I just ran around and picked up cargo, and it was super fun. And to this day, 6,000 hours in, I still do that kind of gameplay. So I'm really excited for the scavenging. Cannot wait to see what it's like to find my way into a wrecked ship. But the most interesting thing about all of it is the suits for me and how we're going to be able to equip them. I'm hoping that there are direct analogs of the support gameplay that I like because I run around with repair limpets and regen beams and all that good stuff because I like to help people. So I'm hoping that there's mods for the suits in there. And honestly,
You want to be a corpsman?
Yeah, I guess so.
Combat medic? Yeah.
So there's so many possibilities, but I'm really, really glad that they didn't just take the mindset of, okay, here's a few suits, buy the one and then go. I like the idea that you can progress your character's equipment in that manner, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out. There's just so much potential.
Beautiful. Blake, your thoughts on any of this?
I would be happy if we had a high level of suit customization in the same way that we can take any ship and do anything with it with enough customization. I would like to see all the suits have that level of customization as well. And it does lead me to wonder, what would on-foot exploration of a Thargoid site look like, or feel like, or sound like, because they do really good sound.
Yeah.
And a on-foot combat medic sounds really fun, and I do enjoy some first-person shooter.
Beautiful. Let's see. I'm gonna ask Ninj, see if your technical stuff is back, and then we'll move to Tweaked. Anything, Ninj? No. All right. Ninj, hop in and just give us a hello at any point when I'm talking if your stuff gets sorted. Tweet your thoughts.
Yeah, the suits is actually the least interesting part of all this to me, because to me it just goes without saying. These suits are going to be the new ships. We're going to engineer them however we want. We're going to make them specifically for certain roles, just like I have 3 different Pythons, each for a different role, 2 vets, all that kind of stuff. To me, that's what the suits are going to be. What really interests me in all this, though, is the scavenger missions. Not only are we going to be able to negotiate, and he said that if you negotiate poorly, things could go bad, and they kind of smiled. So that's intriguing to me. He also said there is no reason that if you go down to that wreck to scavenge, that another player can't follow you down there and try to take your stuff from you, which could also result in some very fun gameplay.
Not just
a lot of that
stuff,
kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of that kind of stuff, and things like they said, if you're going to a ground settlement and your reputation isn't so good with the faction owners there, you could run into some problems. So I think there's going to be so many different types of gameplay that we end up on the ground. Mining, I think a lot of it we're going to be looking for materials on the ground to upgrade our suits and things like that too. So I'm very curious to see all the different gameplay loops that they're going to have. I think scavenging is just but one of many, probably. And the only thing left for me to see, really, I mean, if FDev let me pre-order right now, I would. I'd pre-order this thing as soon as I could right now. But everything that I have seen to this point leads me to just one more question. I want to see the gunplay. Let me see what it looks like when we shoot some things, what kind of different gunplay I can have, and then give me the chance to buy it, because that's the only thing left. I am totally sold on everything I've seen.
Oh, I guarantee you there's a whole dev diary that's coming up on FPS Combat. They've
Oh, I
hinted at
know
it
it.
repeatedly. Yeah. All right. And the last thought I'm going to throw in on that engineering outfit. I dig the little risk comp. I dig the little Dick Tracy risk computer situation where you got like a readout or whatever. Like that shit is legit. I'm psyched.
I think that's going to be our radar to lead us back to wherever our ship is. You get so far away from your ship exploring and stuff, you might need that to lead you back to where you parked.
There you go. All right. So let's see here. We've got from the video here, there was a sign of the different places with the stuff that they had on offer. They had Apex Interstellar Transport, which is your taxi service. They had in one of the concept art footage, they had a detailed picture of the sign that showed locations that you could get to, and you're not actually going to you're not going to see it there scrolling through Arson, because it was from a different concept art picture that they put out. The one that they put out with this round didn't have the signage that you could read, but the other one did, and it showed it was like Sol to Lave, Lave to Akinar, Akinar to Sirius, and they had other ones going out, which kind of gives you a better idea of the, that you can go to pretty far, pretty decent distances to get around the bubble. And it also showed in the background, it showed a ship. See, okay, there you go. You do have that picture. Sol, Lave, Akinar, Akinar, Sirius, and then so that shows you can go far. And then to go with the information that sort of the devs were talking about, or what Art was talking about, if you look at the picture right behind the checkout girl, there's the ship, and it shows there's 3 different points in that horizon that you can see where it's like this place or this place or this place. I think, you're going to have, as I said, sort of the ability to have sort of more directed, not just London to Paris, but you can actually say, hey man, I want to go to those grid coordinates. And you can put in like, I've got a mission here, and they're going to drop you there. So that's super, super interesting. The other thing that really excited me about this is when they mentioned this one specifically, Pierce, he said something that stuck with me very, very well. And he said, you're going to, he said, we have a new character and a new service. So when you talk about the character and the service, like, all right, to me, I very, very hard went down the rabbit hole of like, why would you talk about a new character? Like, you're not going to really care about the checkout girl at a specific place of like, oh, I'm at Apex in Freehold. Why? Like, that person is just checkout person number 17. Like, it's sort of not really important to you. I'm thinking there's going to be, they've shown us big shakeups in power play. I'm thinking there's going to be a new power play person, and that power play person is, hey man, they offer you a discount on your shuttle flights or whatever. I just feel like, because he said the new person is going to be working for Apex Interstellar. Maybe you're talking about somebody that's like, high up, like the leader or whatever of Apex. So the next place they showed is the lounge, which is the pilot's bar. Obviously, a bar, everybody knows what a bar is, but we're not drinking in the game. So what the fuck is the point of a bar? To me, the bar is, your place where you make contacts. So, there's a shady guy over here. He's the smuggler. There's another person over here. That's the interstellar factor. There's another person over here. They're offering you some sort of stuff to buy on the black market. And then you meet them, down at the docks or whatever after you make a deal. Or this guy over here is offering you a contract to go kill somebody that's like one of the local power play leader, or not power play, PMF leaders or whatever, the minor faction people. Or you've stolen some goods and now this is where you're going to fence it. Like, this bar, I think, is a central, like, I think this bar is the sort of player hub. Like, I know what the player hubs are, the star ports, the planet ports, and the outposts, but I think this bar is going to be where we do all of our meeting and wheeling and dealing, a lot of it. And the other thing is, I would love to see that they put in, because there's tons of games where they have like, hey man, you can play poker at the bar or whatever. That would be amazing. You would end up having people that just spend hours and hours and hours playing poker with each other. It'd be crazy. After that was Pioneer Supplies. That's your supply store where you buy all your stuff, weapons, armor stuff, your suit stuff, your weapons, and consumables of various sorts. They said that in the Polygon interview. Frontline Solutions. Frontline Solutions, it literally has a big sign behind it that says, get into the fight. And it's a big sort of question mark about like, what exactly Frontline Solutions? Well, here's what Frontline Solutions is. According to, again, the Polygon interview, which this one seems very sort of well-sourced, and many of the things in there have already sort of been checked out. Frontline Solutions, it says, is, hold on, a mercenary outfit which will allow players to explore combat scenarios without necessarily aligning to any given faction in the game world. If you look at the front desk there is facing you, there is a system map. I think you go on there, you accept the contract. It's for a Merc thing. This doesn't affect your BGS. And that's going to be, I think, the main sort of source of, one of the main sources of FPS stuff. The non-BGS-y part of it, where you can just go in and do some FPS. This is your shooter game mode.
This is what I think when Arthur referred to CQC for first person shooter
yes,
in the stream, I think this is what he was talking about.
100%. There's also Inter Astra, which is the shipyard where players can preview and purchase starships. And Arson, if you bring that up on the screen, if you notice there, the vet on that holo table has a ship kit on it. So like this is interesting stuff in that it shows you ships, but I think it gives you an opportunity. You can see like, what would this look like with this, or what would this look like with that? So in addition to that, we've got, let's see, Vista Genomics, an exobiologist to whom players will be able to sell genetic information from newly discovered life forms encountered while on foot. And no mention of this at all in the dev diary, but they did specifically mention in the Polygon interview. Gareth Hughes said, and the black market. While black market contacts already exist in the game, this is where players will be able to fence the new kinds of stolen and illicit goods available in Odyssey. Super, super interesting stuff. And all of this comes from the Charlie Hall interview with Gareth Hughes, the lead designer. Like I said, this information seems 100% legit based on the other information that we had. And I'm going to roll right into the rest of this interview. We're kind of taking this hodgepodge because it's a mess of a thing. But entire new system of gameplay focused on first-person shooter, solitary exploration, and stealth in built-up areas. That stealth in built-up areas, I submit that that's two things. It's stealing stuff. You go to a settlement and you steal some stuff, maybe for a mission or just because you want it to sell it, or stealth in built-up areas because you got to sneak in and kill a guy. You got to kill one guy, and you don't want to do a whole combat assault force because there's an army there, but you want to just sneak in, kill this one guy, and get the hell out. Each of the new types of locations, outposts, which are your small space stations, your shoeboxes, starports, which is the big space stations, the big Coriolis and Orbis and whatnot, and asteroid, as they showed in Freehold there, and planet ports, which is your existing large land bases, the places that you can go to right now in game and you can land. They are your three types of social hubs, okay? And they will each have one layout type. So all of the shoebox stations will be laid out the same way. All of the starports will be laid out the same way. All of the planet ports will be laid out the same way, with variations through decorations and faction modifications, but the layouts are the same. So if you know the layout of one starport, You know the layout of all the starports, but they'll have some cosmetic stuff that looks different for each one so that it doesn't sort of look monotonous. Now, there's one other new type of thing, which are settlements. Now, this is super interesting because it's not a handful of settlements. They literally said in the interview, there will be thousands. They will be added to existing planets and the new tenuous atmospheric planets. They will vary in type, but are far larger than planet ports. They're sprawling compact complexes of buildings from productions. They have production buildings. They have, so if it's an agricultural settlement, that production thing will be, they're harvesting food or whatever. If it's a mineral one, if it's, then it'll be, or they're smelting stuff or whatever. If it's a, what do you call it? Like a production facility, it'll be like they're making components for stuff or whatever.
Refinery, industrial, high-tech, colony.
Absolutely.
Yeah, similar to how they have the varied interiors for the stations that we can see now for like agricultural and industrial and whatnot.
And you will have habs, the places where the people that work there live. Although some of them won't even have habs because the people will like fly into work and then like leave. It'll be automated or whatever. You could have a mission to go there to collect something or kill someone, or you could just roll up and assault it, or roll up and stealthily steal something, or roll up and stealthily assassinate one guy and leave or whatever. The security and the defenses can get buffed based on the background simulation, the BGS. And these locations can be assaulted in combined ops on foot, SRVs, and ships. There is a link to this excellent Polygon article in the show notes that you should absolutely check out. All right, Arson, your thoughts on these things that we've just covered?
So that was quite a mouthful. I'm really, really interested to see the new settlements because we have what are coined as settlements in the game right now, but they're definitely smaller than the planet ports that we have now. Like for example, when I was tooling around in the SRV earlier, that was a Class 3 settlement, one of the larger ones. But based off what they're saying, it sounds like we're going to be getting like things closer to what you see as like a rural area that's spread across miles and miles and miles. That kind of stuff sounds phenomenal. Like, imagine a neighbor has a grudge against another neighbor in the settlement, and you hop in your SRV, or I kind of hope for a pickup truck or a hover bike, but you hop in your vehicle and you cruise to the other side of the settlement and you interact with them, and you maybe hop on your vehicle and go back, and just the menial tasks and the traveling between points, like that kind of stuff excites me. Just from the premise of I can't wait to do that, and then in the backdrop have my enormous spaceship in the backdrop, and just having the feeling the entire time I'm running around, that's my ship. I am the big boss in this area because all I have to do is take off and lay the heat down.
Right on. That reminds me of that one episode of Firefly where they're getting chased by the people out of the bar, and Wash shows up with the ship, and the local yokels don't even know that he's not armed. He just shows up and he's like, "Back up or you all die," and they're all like, "Oh shit!" Yeah.
I will blow a hole in this tiny moon.
Yeah. All right. Blake, your thoughts on all this?
Going back a couple topics, we were looking at the shop that sells you weapons. If you wanted to sell me a rifle, all you got to do is give me a firing range, put it in my hands, and give me a feel of what is it like. And then I will go through, find the one that fits me, my play style, and then I'll buy that weapon. And the next thing we talked about the hologram of a Corvette. What I would love to know is where in the heck is hardpoint number 8 or utility slot number 7. I don't know exactly where they are, but I'd love to know. I think that's a really cool feature. We talked a little bit about the infiltration and the stealth. It's a lot to ask, but what would happen if you were doing infantry combat on a world that's 4G? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need some augmented power suits like they have in the EDRPG for that kind of stuff in order to be really sort of effective. And maybe those are modules that we have. That remains to be seen, but that's super interesting. It makes sense.
You know, that's actually just thinking about that, because one of the things that I did with my ship is I set a baseline of being able to operate in 7G. I used Achenar 6 as a test bed for my ship. I can't wait to be like, oh, you want to follow me and gank me? Well, you know what? Follow me down to this planet, bro. And oh, I have a high G suit and you don't. Well, like,
Yeah,
that's
you
gonna
take
be
them into the
awesome.
deep waters and give them the old choke. Right on. Ninj, your thoughts? Still technical difficulties. All right. Tweaked, your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, but very interested in the shipyard. I'd love to be able to walk into a place and get a better look at the ships that I'm considering buying. I love that idea. The taxi service for people to never have to actually own a ship to play the game, that's a pretty cool idea if they want to play it that way, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. But they won't be able to do the things that we all can when we want to go out, thousands of light years into the black or something like that. The settlements, I can't wait to find one of these Dust Bowl Firefly-esque settlements out there, because I'm hoping to get into some good old-fashioned and Wild West gunfights out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that really struck me with this whole Dev Diary and the Polygon article, everything previously that we had heard was FDev talking about social hubs. So I was picturing in my head a few of these scattered throughout the galaxy in strategical positions.
Mm-hmm.
What we're getting, it seems, and according to that Polygon article, which again is well sourced, is every station across the galaxy. And that is just mind-blowingly best case scenario phenomenal as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're talking about like 50,000 sort of the planet ports, star ports, and outposts, in addition to the quote thousands of new settlements that are going to be dotted around. So this is no small number that we're talking about here. All right, so we've covered that polygon thing. Let me go back because I kind of got sidetracked off of the notes that I was looking at when I sort of hopped over to the polygon thing. Let's go back here, and here we go. So again, I can't shake he said one of the new characters. I think we're getting new power play stuff, but all right, let's move on from there. So we saw the mission board, how that worked. Frontier has confirmed that you can still use the mission board in your ship if you want to. If you're like, I don't really want to do that, you don't have to. Use the mission board in your ship. Or you can use the mission board in the station. Or you can walk right up to mission givers. These are all sort of possibilities of things that you can do.
And
Okay.
on that real quick, they did say that the mission giver would give more detailed information about your mission than you would get from the mission board. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and you would have an opportunity to sort of haggle. You could negotiate.
Yep.
All right. So let's see here. I'm going through the notes here. I'm skimming through because I want to just pull out certain things. I got to correct myself. So I said, like, this is great the way they showed this airlock, but that's not how you would use an airlock. And then somebody pointed out to me that you could see like some blue line and like some little like hazy whatever. It's one of those force fields, just
Force
like you
field.
have when
Yep.
you fly through the mail slot. So that was, I'm correcting myself there. That okay, if that's the case, then I sort of was using my 2020 brain. That was like, you don't use an airlock like that, and they're like, bro, we're in the future. We got Star Trek shit. We don't need your walls. Okay, fine, fair enough. I can go with that. Let's see here.
I actually want to say something just from on that particular topic. I think that particular shielding technology for that, it goes a lot it says a lot rather about the progression of technology. We're not just a spacefaring species in Elite that has obtained faster than light travel and is still, puttering around. We can, without impairment, walk in and out of our habitats in poisonous atmospheres. That is kind of badass. And it also raises the question on the airlocks. When we get to, say, I don't know, Cloud City type buildings in gas giants deep in the atmosphere, is there a certain threshold that the pressure is going to make it to where you suddenly have to use a traditional airlock? I think those kind of things could be really, really interesting, especially if you take storms into account down the line.
For sure, man. For sure. All right, the Dropbox area. I'm going right now. I'm putting my thought that the Dropbox is your place where you can bring stuff like your maybe a black market type whatever, but B, I'm thinking this is where you go to bring your engineering shit and trade it in for the stuff that you want or for cash, so you can get your suit and your new SRV types that I'm still holding out hope that we're going to get engineered. Blake, let's start with you. What do you think the Dropbox is?
Oh, familiar. I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay. Arson.
Well, I think the Dropbox is probably going to be relatively simple in concept, just as a place to put things. But one of the things that I did notice that they were talking about in the Discovery Scanner, though, was dropping off your salvage, and I'm wondering if the Dropbox is basically their way of handling PvP looting and all of that stuff. Because if you're carrying something on your person, once you die, it's lost, is my assumption, and that you would take it to the Dropbox, and that would then transition those items from your character inventory to your account inventory. And I think that if that's the case, that's going to open up a lot of potential with the whole mindset of following people down to planets and engaging in PvP. Oh, I'm just going to wait for them to collect all the salvage, and then they come out of the wreck, and then, we got a 3 sniper team, 2 of them take down their shields, and the 3rd one takes the kill shot. Like, there's just so much potential there. I think that's where Dropbox go.
You, my friend, have been smoking too much reefer. You're in your elite, you're in your Eve brain, and I know that you want it to be full loot PvP, but you're not getting it, bro. Elite does not do that. Dropbox, you're when you die, your stuff is all just like your materials right now. When you die, it's not like all of your materials go spreading, get gone. That's
We'll
going to be a
find out.
separate little interdimensional pocket where all your materials and all of your fucking scavenge stuff goes. Although maybe with scavenge stuff, I could see that scavenge stuff go into the cargo pile as opposed to because they did specifically even say with some stuff it might be big and heavy, you might want to put it in your SRV or whatever. So that I could maybe see, but I think a lot of it is going to be, I think the Dropbox is like trading your stuff in for money and or getting your stuff engineered. But Tweaked, you be the deciding. We got one vote that says full loot and one vote that says nah. What do you think?
No, I'm more along your line of thinking, Kai, where I think the Dropbox is going to be some of that stuff that we scavenge that we don't have to turn into the mission giver. We can put it there and get paid for it or whatnot. Something along those lines.
I would dig it though, Arson. If I was wrong, if I was wrong and you were right, I'm not gonna lie, I would dig it. That
to me, you're kind of talking about like a locker, a save locker or something like in Red Dead. Your weapons are there and that kind of stuff. I don't know that that's an elite dangerous kind of thing, really.
Yeah, Arson, pull up the video at 3 minutes and 19 seconds in, if you would.
The dev diary itself.
Yeah. This literally is the part where they're looking out the window at Astor's Hope, and I want you to look as the camera pans. I want you to look up the hill at the other installation. You can see where like this thing is. I think first we were thinking, oh, this is a little thing. Watch this pan and look out that right window, the one that you can only have half a view of. Go ahead. Look at step right there. Go back. Pause it right at the.
Yeah, I'm just taking it frame by frame real quick. That's a hard pause to get.
Yeah.
Quick fingers.
Yeah. See, okay, you see, start the outline. There's more building up there. There's more here. You're about to see it really well. Here you go. Right there.
Is that a windmill
Oh.
or something out there?
Yeah. So when we first saw the little thing, I think a lot of people were thinking like, yeah, okay, right there, perfect. A lot of people were thinking like, oh, this is going to be, there's that little gateway, and then there's going to be like, 2 buildings, 3 buildings. No, man, you got buildings off in the distance up there to the right, and this is just the one vantage point that we got that's to the side. For all we know, that behind these guys, and on the other side, there's 5 or 6 more buildings. There's lots of other stuff. We don't know, but they have told us that settlements are by far the largest areas of all of the social hubs. They're much larger, they said they're much larger, much more dynamic. And what was the other thing? Was it more dangerous? More
opportunistic, I think they said.
Let's see here. I'm gonna actually literally dig through my notes and find. Okay, the largest, the newest, largest, and most dynamic of the new planetary locations. So expect more out of those settlements than what we were first thinking. All right, so scrolling down here a little bit, I see. Then we already covered the guy walking with the Borg. I'm calling it the Borg visor, but it could also just be something that's attached on a helmet or something that's attached to like the shoulder part of his head, because it looks like he's not wearing a helmet. But we covered that already. Let's see. Now I broke down in the video where you can see from the bar, and I pointed out key people to use in the bar and the main concourse to use as your sort of touchstones. Say, okay, if that guy's there, then that means you're looking at this viewpoint as opposed to that viewpoint. And basically broke down the video and took you on a walkway and showed you, okay, this is where all the stuff is. Which, I don't know, maybe I'm overly nerdy for getting into that, but it's just like, oh, this is a new thing. I want to know all of it. Let's see here.
You want to know overly nerdy? I even loved. I don't know if Arson, you can go back to that math. What was his name? Matthew Florians. That was just there talking about the Elite Dangerous sounds.
Yeah.
You look at his face when he's talking. If you can play that part, and you just see that unabashed joy and pure love. And in my experience, when any creator, whether it be a movie maker, an author, an artist, when they have that kind of love for what they are creating that makes them that happy, they're creating something magical.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that really stuck out to me. Here you go.
Or inside a little vehicle, but inside a body.
Meeting.
Yeah. And then there's this guy, Felix. I just want to give Felix Isley a hug. That guy, I don't know. That guy just looks like he's like, I just want to make a connection. All right. Yeah. Super, super interesting. All right. I'm going to now sort of leave the computer notes that I had from the thing on the dev diary, and let's look at my many pages of scrawled out notes here. Let's see here. All right. So, Stephen on the social hubs, we got this. Variations of design, okay. Let's see. Combat missions, exploration missions, scavenger missions.
While you look through your notes, I kind of want to, because one of the things they said was they don't have anything to say on fleet carriers yet.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely an area, because they don't want to cross the ground of treating it like somebody else owns it and whatnot. But one thing, just a little bit of a shower thought that I had, I would love, when I jump my carrier into a system, if I have, you could have a setting on your carrier, allow them to dock, but I would like to see, say, for example, if I jumped into Limbava, controlled by Liang Rui, that Liang Rui would send a power play envoy ship that lands at my carrier. And this is something, I guess, maybe for the future when they have ship interiors. But these envoys could potentially land at your carrier, and you can walk through the carrier and go to the docking bay where they're landed. They don't board your ship, they just land. And then you board their ship. So maybe if it's an Imperial envoy, for example, they show up in a cutter. And maybe they have missions that they will offer you on your carrier. But you have to allow the envoy to dock, and you have to have good reps since you own the carrier and things like that. I think that kind of stuff could be potentially really, really awesome, because just the thought of treating mobile NPCs as kind of like these ad hoc environments that all kinds of different things could be done with on the fly. What if one of those landed NPCs that you see just parked on a barren planet for no reason? They go up and knock on the door, and they open up and say, "Would you like to buy my wares?"
It could be interesting. It definitely could be interesting. One thing that I missed out on when I was talking about the scavenging loop, gameplay loop. Number one, when Luke was talking about it on the stream, he said specifically you're going to have to scan for it. So it's going to kind of be similar to, how so you get some of those missions where it'll say you're looking for a site and you go and it says like search area as you're coming in. And you kind of look around and your search zone will move 4 or 5 times.
The
Then the
planetary
final.
scan mission.
Yeah. I think it's going to be similar to that. There's going to be some sort of scanning mini game or whatever that you're going to have to sort of accomplish to get to the location. And also with regard to those missions, Luke specifically said at 41 minutes into the live stream, he said you can scavenge without a mission as well. So like you can literally just show up and start like searching in a planet. They're going to see these things sort of all over the place, and you can go with a mission, or you could just go out there and say like, no, I'm a scavenger. I want to role play that I'm this type of scavenger that I just go out and look for wrecks randomly, and you can find them.
And if they add the right stuff to make that a viable way to play the game, I mean, if they're going to tell me if I can scavenge a wrecked Anaconda and pull a fully engineered grade 5 engineered FSD out of it, or something that I can use in one of my ships, or maybe a new personal weapon or something like that, something useful that I can use for my own inventory, then that would make scavenging a lot of fun.
100%. Absolutely. Blake, I know that you have to go. You said that you have a time concern, and we already had an issue with Ninj where technical difficulties, he had to go. But do you have anything you want to add on any of these things that we discussed, or anything you want to say as sort of I want to give you a chance to say parting words about any of this, or about, just Operation Ida or the game in general before you go.
No, I'd like to say thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. I think you offer something and are able to bring people together and have a good conversation. Good night to all of you, and have fun.
Fantastic. Big salute to Operation Ida, and we love you. You guys are awesome. Keep on fucking trucking.
Cheers.
Beautiful. All right. So I want to hit another thing at the 46-minute and 50-second mark of the live stream from yesterday. Luke was asked, will the NPCs be voice acted? And he said yes. That to me is fucking massive. Your thoughts, guys?
Skyrim
Totally
in
agree.
space.
Yep, totally agree. Freaking amazing. Absolutely perfect.
Right on. All right.
Yeah, that part right there, like, I had hoped that NPCs would be voiced, but I did not set my expectation for it, because it's a pretty tall order. There's plenty of examples of games that have done it. Skyrim obviously being one of them. But the fact that that's happening has me so excited, and I'm really hoping that translates to NPCs in space as well.
Absolutely. That would be awesome. So at the 53-minute mark of yesterday's stream was where the question was asked about the jetpacks, and Arf said, I don't know. We don't call them jetpacks, but you saw them in the trailer. They are modules in there. He specifically said modules. You can go look for it at the 53-minute mark. At the 54-minute mark, he alludes to either assaulting settlements in a force assault, or stealing stuff or stealthy assassination or whatever in settlements. That you can go there. He said you don't have to have a mission. You can go in there and make your own gameplay, and I'll let you read into it. Something to that extent. He said. At the 5450 mark, this is super interesting to me. So Arf said you can walk around your ship in the hangar, and it's seamless walking from outside to inside. So to me, and he said it's just like going in and out of buildings. To me, when you say that, let's look at this for a second. If you were to have a thing, people have been saying, oh, this sucks. You can't walk in your ship. So it's going to be a stupid thing, just like when you hop in an SRV where like you click on the exit ship button and then the screen goes black, and then the screen comes back up and you're outside your ship. He just said you can walk from outside to inside or whatever. And then B, he said it's seamless, no cutscene. Isn't that, give me your guys' opinion, isn't that a cutscene when you like load in right now, where you load into your SRV and the screen goes black and whatever? To me, that's a cutscene. So,
and I wouldn't say that isn't that. I would say that's not seamless as well, having it go to black like that. So yeah, this implies to me that maybe we walk up the ladder and the rest of the ship is closed off to us, but the cockpit is right there.
100%. That's what I alluded to in my breakdown video that I thought on Elite Week episode 41. Arson, your thoughts on this? Does that seem to you to sort of hint the same way that I took it, or do you take it differently?
So I gotta say, I definitely want to latch onto that means you'll be able to walk all the way from the outside of your ship to your chair, regardless of how little space there actually is to wander around your ship. I gotta say, I'm feeling like being cautious with that. However, I will say that from a technical perspective, I have a feeling that statement of being seamless means that the technology in the game, at the very least, is at a state where if they wanted to give us ship interiors, that they might possibly be capable of allowing us to do stuff like they do in Star Citizen, where they walk up to their ship, open a door, and walk up the ramp, and they're literally in their ship, and then walk to the thing. Considering David Braben said in 2012 that they have basically had the technology planned out in the frameworks of everything since way back in 2012, I think that hopefully that might actually be the case. And if it is, we are in for a treat once they give us ship interiors.
Absolutely. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. We definitely have gotten confirmation in Dev Diary 1 that starting on foot is an option, and they've said specifically that you don't even have to buy a ship anymore. If you want to be a commander that doesn't use a ship, that's your choice. Now, let me be absolutely clear. I think that that's fucking ridiculous. I would never want to do that because I love flying spaceships. But the fact that that's even a thing that you can contemplate for somebody who's not me, who is excited by that, means that you put so much depth and so many loops and things and whatever, that if there's so much there that a person that says, I hate flying spaceships, but I love doing all this other stuff, if that person could be happy with this product, then me, who loves to fly spaceship, that means I'm getting a full game's worth of shit that's not even in the spaceship, plus all the stuff I have that's in the spaceship. So to me, I just took that as a, sort of huge plus. What about you guys?
Absolutely a huge plus. And one thing that I'd add too, that one of the questions that was asked to in the stream, and I'm pretty sure I heard on live radio there was an answer, and you probably have this too, Kai, is that they said that the travel with this taxi service is not instantaneous. So it's not going to be you click a button to go take a trip to Seoul. You're not going to fade to black and get frozen and instantly be there. You're going to get onto a ship and probably have to wait. And I don't hate that idea. Lave Radio, I think it was Lave, maybe it was Loose Root. One of the shows was talking about that, and they were saying how it's bad gameplay to sit on a hauler and wait for it to take off. And I disagree. I think that's simulated gameplay. That's a simulation. If I'm getting on an airplane to go somewhere, I have to wait until it takes off to go. And I have no problem. If I don't want to fly a spaceship, but I want to take a taxi, I have to wait and be at its mercy. I like that.
Yeah, they definitely said it's not an instantaneous travel, but they also said, because they were asked, well, how long is it going to be or whatever, and they said, we're working, we don't want to talk about that yet. I think they're working it out still. They're trying to find the sweet spot of long enough that it has a feel where it's not instantaneous and doesn't feel cheap, but short enough that you don't get pissed off. I think they're working on that, and I feel like they'll come up with
we still take half-hour super cruise trips from station to station in certain systems, sometimes even more, and most of us don't complain about that. I love the vastness of the game. That's part of what made me fall in love with it to begin with. So this to me plays to that. I love the fact that they're keeping this a full-on simulation.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. There was a question about the early release of the video. Like, this is the second time, and some people have questioned, like, wow, was the teaser trailer really released early? Yes, it absolutely was released early. It absolutely was 100% supposed to be released a week later at the IGN. Like, literally, they showed that video at the IGN thing. That's where it was supposed to go. It was supposed to be part of that. It didn't happen because of an error. Again, this time it released early because of shenanigans, however, whatever. And I'm sure they're learning from this and they're getting on it. But in the meantime, they rolled with it. Last time they kind of acted like, nope, we meant to do that. I mean, they didn't say it, but they gave that impression by not addressing it. And it felt a little off. This time, when you love somebody and they fuck up and they immediately go, oops, I fucked up. It's very easy to go like, or not even if it's them or if it's somebody else or whatever, but they honestly just say flat out like, whoops, we didn't mean this, but we're going to roll with it as best we can. It's very endearing. And I think it makes you want to just go like, yeah, we're rolling with you. It's all good. Don't, do your best, whatever. I think they rolled with it super, super well.
I think they handled it perfectly, absolutely perfectly. They could have tried to hide it and could have said, "Oh no, we've totally meant to do this." They kind of and they just came out and said, "Oops, it was a mistake." But hey, we're rolling with it. We love what we have here anyway. So what do you guys think? And I personally think the community is abuzz and couldn't be happier. Community doesn't care if it got released a little bit earlier or on time or whatnot. The fact is we got to see the dev diary. We get an idea of what's coming and everybody is excited.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, Arson?
I thought it was fantastic of them to go ahead and just do another live stream on it. Just impromptu that day. Acknowledge it. And then engage with the community, and that just great stuff. It wasn't just okay, here's a forum post saying this. I kind of enjoyed that stream. It was impromptu. There wasn't really a whole lot of meat given, but it was like, hey, we get it. And then the next day, they came out with the Super Cruise news, or not the Super Cruise news, the damn Discovery scanner, and they just melted my heart.
You're a softie. All right, at an hour and 17 minutes and 32 seconds into the stream, Art specifically, he was like, I see a question here. Will there be CQC on foot? And then he's like, look, we're not going to talk about it. I'm not getting into it right now. This is a thing for later. But yes. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. I fucking love that guy. He's like, right. He's just like, the whole setup there was leading you to think that it was like, hey, we're not going to talk about it. We'll later, blah, 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 moving on. But then he's like, oh, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like you had me at yes. And I'm not even a fan really of the idea of CQC on foot. I'm not a first person shooter guy, but I acknowledge that lots of people are. And I want you to, like, yeah, you should have your fun too, all of that. Like, yeah, 100%. So for those people that they're into it, yeah, okay, cool.
See, I am a combat guy. I don't necessarily love first person. I prefer third person for personal reasons. But
Sure.
But I'm okay with a first person. But I've said before, I don't love CQC because it takes me out of the open universe, the open galaxy.
This one doesn't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it might not. The sound of it is it's going to have me sign up to go help somebody down there, and it might give me a contract to make some credits or something, and that's cool. Let me test out the gun that I'm thinking about buying. Maybe that would be cool. I hope they work it that way. But yeah, I want the more natural first-person combat in this game. The CZs on the ground, I'm at the Wild West settlement and somebody started shooting at me, so I had to shoot them all down, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm excited to try out.
Yeah, me too. I will say I think I might differ. I don't really think that Frontline Solutions has anything to do with the CQC version. Maybe the CQC version of Odyssey gunplay can be accessed through Frontline Solutions, but I genuinely, because of the way that the concept art and the footage was, I feel like Apex and Frontline Solutions are like kiosks that are across from each other in a hall. And that what it is that section of, not the space mall, because I know somebody called it that recently, but the actual airport, Frontline Solutions sends you to drop ships and ships specifically taking you to combat zones and various war areas, I think, that are tied to the BGS. And then the other side for Apex takes you to couriers to get you to different places and things like that. I think that is more along the lines of what Frontline is focused on. I don't think that the whole Frontline kiosk is dedicated just to a CQC for gunplay.
I'd be totally down for that. I like that.
All right. I want to hit another thing that I found super interesting. On the live stream from yesterday, at 1 hour and 19 minutes and 5 seconds in, Steven said, he was asked specifically, he was like, what about cross-platform play? And now Frontier have repeatedly said, like, we have no plans for cross-platform at this time. That's their official line. But this time, 1 hour and 19 minutes and 5 seconds in, Steven said, we've not discussed anything about cross-platform at the moment. With Odyssey release, we will update you at that time. What? Okay. Now let's be honest. Let's be fair. These guys were doing a live stream for a couple hours, so he may have sort of misspoke there. He may whatever, or it may be a tip of the hat of like, yeah, before we were kind of limiting your expectations or whatever. We're managing expectations, and whoops, I just slipped up and said, we'll talk about that later after release.
A little bit of a softening of the stance, right? That's the way I took it.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe just saying, can't talk about it now, but we will talk about it later, which would excite the fuck out of me. That would be the biggest thing I think ever.
That would be great for Elite Dangerous, period. Yeah, make the universe come alive and be full.
Arson?
Yeah, so the part of that stuck with me is we're not talking about that right now. It's that right now verbiage, and I wholeheartedly believe that the whole reason we don't have crossplay right now is because it wasn't a smart move to develop it, because things were so uncertain in that realm of gaming up until
100%
really the last year. I think where developers are actually comfortable now.
Yeah, Sony kept it locked down, so there was no point. But now they seem to be legitimately open. So,
and Squadrons just released, and that is totally cross-platform, from my understanding. So
and
it
sucks. Sorry.
Okay, we'll talk about that another time. This is all Elite right now. All right, so at a hour and 21 minutes and 48 seconds. Again, Stephen was asked about the suit with shields. He said, yes, they will have shields and they will be battery powered, and you will have to sort of maintain your resources. You'll have to sort of like think, because like it's if you know, if you put if your shield sucks up too much power, your life support's not going to have it, so that's a thing that you have to keep in mind.
Hey, here's a
All right.
thought on shields. I bet you toggle them on and off as you need them. Toggle them on when you're leaving a salvage site, on the way out the door. Toggle them off on the way in after you've made sure nobody's inside the entrance.
Yeah, I mean, to conserve your power, that completely makes sense. The same way, not the same exact mechanic, but a similar mechanic to how we manage our pips. So, you put pips into shield when you need it. You put pips into weapons, sort of, you put pips into engines. So it could be a similar thing of like, if I'm using I'm not trying to say that we're going to have pip management specifically in the suits. Although, who knows, we'll see. But what I'm just simply saying is, if you use your jetpack, it's like you're putting pips into engines. You're soaking up that, distributor. The same way, if you put pips into shields, or if you have it on, you're soaking up, and that has to be, that's a resource that you have to sort of balance out, and you have to keep in your mind. You have to make sure that you keep in the front of your mind that the most important resource you have is life support. Without that, you are fucked. All right. So I think that goes through a good amount of the breakdown. Let's talk about a couple of the other Frontier stuff that happened this week. First off, huge announcement was made that as of October 27th, Frontier Horizons will be rolled into the base game. And honestly, I think we all called it. Nobody's shocked, nobody's surprised, but I salute it. It's an excellent idea. It's a thing that you need to do to, get yourself into a situation where you're ready to aggressively market to the masses as much as possible. They threw a bone. Now, I don't even think they needed to be honest with you. Just me personally, I've already gotten, and your mileage may vary, but for me, I paid what, $60-$70 for, because when I first started, I wasn't waiting for a sale because I was a brand new fish. I was a brand new player, and I didn't buy the base game and then later Horizons. I bought the $60-$70 package or whatever. That's like, it has the base game, it has Horizons, and it also has, like, I don't know, you got some extra stickers or some shit. Like, yeah, you get these paint jobs, you get these whatever. It was like a package combo deal. I paid $70, all right? I paid as much as you could sort of possibly pay for this shit. If you factor in the amount of hours I've gotten out of this game, it's literally pennies, if that, per hour. Like, it's nothing. I don't need a new paint job. I've gotten my money's worth out of this. I've soaked it all up. But it was a very classy touch to throw the paint job in and say, hey man, you get this special paint job for all of your ships, and you can only ever get it, like this way. That's awesome. I think that's very, very classy. The other thing that I want to throw in here is, why would you do this now? Why would you roll in? Because companies want to soak up as much money as possible. They want to make money. So why would you, roll in the base game before the other one is released? Here's why. And this is just my hunch. This is not official. I do not have any inside information that I'm sharing at this time. I'm just giving you a hunch. My hunch is you do that so that you can clear the decks and get shit ready for pre-order announcement. So that you want a very clean transition you want this transition done before the pre-orders so that it doesn't muddy the waters of people now complaining because, wait, you're trying to sell this and then this and then three, well, I have to buy whatever. No, you want people to know when pre-orders are coming out, if they're excited to say, yeah, fuck it, I'll put money down on this game, that you could say like, okay, it's only going to cost me this plus this, not this plus this plus this. Arson, your thoughts on this announcement and my speculation on pre-orders coming soon after that, October 27th.
I definitely believe that'll probably be the case. That feels about right. If not October, then definitely November. As far as it's concerned, I think the biggest thing is letting those that haven't had Horizons access have a little bit of breathing room before Odyssey drops, so that they can start engineering their ships since they've been holding out, because they're gonna need it, I feel.
Right on. Tweaked.
I don't know if it's because of a pre-order coming up. I hope so, because I'm ready to fork over however much they want to charge for Odyssey as soon as I can. But I think it's probably to clear up any confusion, because you don't want to have, here's Elite Dangerous Core, and here's Elite Dangerous Horizons, and here's Elite Dangerous Beyond, and here's Elite Dangerous Odyssey. You don't want all these different conglomerates of the game. So now they just cut it down. This is Elite Dangerous, this is Odyssey, which is coming, and that's it. And I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that because all the planets are getting a redo with the graphics and everything, that and I think they just want everybody to be able to land on this stuff and enjoy it. And really, it's been out for how many years now, and it's pretty inexpensive at this point anyways, really. So it's probably time to roll it into the base game. I hope there's a pre-order coming soon, because I'm ready.
All right. So now let's move on to sort of the next topic, which is Galnet. There have been a lot of Galnet stories. We're already after 10 o'clock. We don't have the time to get into them in detail, but obviously I just want to give much love and salute that Galnet is still continuing. It's still rolling. The narratives are interesting. Things are happening. And we're going to talk about a lot of that tied into the CG stuff coming up. So let's talk about the CGs. First off, we had, as of yesterday, the payoff of the CGs from 2 weeks ago. And that was that as of yesterday, 10 new big boy stations, 5 Coriolis and 5 Orbis stations appeared in the galaxy. Those stations were upgrading from the shoebox stations in those systems. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. This is nothing new. But I want to point out that those stations, that is something from 2 weeks ago that is coming online now, that is changing the galaxy. In addition to that, that changed the population for the galaxy. If you go into the system and check it now as opposed to before, it's different. It's changing the BGS. It's making this a dynamic, living, breathing world. In addition to that, as of yesterday, another thing that happened is a lot of people got their Achenar permits issued, which to me I think is very important, because I truly believe, and I'm not sharing any inside information, this is just a hunch that to me seems completely logical. About 80% of the new storyline shit that we're dealing with right now in Galnet is stuff about this neo-Marlinist, maybe leftist terrorist, maybe false flag, whatever, by somebody, and their sort of campaign and their whatever against the Duvals, and people are dying and things are happening, and Petraeus is going out and starting this whole new CG, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But all of this stuff is happening sort of around the Duval family, around the Achenar, around the Empire, and the seat of the Empire is, of course, Achenar. I think there's going to be big events happening there, and I think that those people that have that Achenar permit are going to be very, very happy. If you missed it, it's not too late. All you have to do is go out there and grind the fuck out of your Empire rec, and you can get your Achenar permit so that you won't miss out on the story stuff when it happens. Do it now. Don't miss out. But many people already got it from the CG from last week, and big salute to you. You were smart. Also, what hit today, or yesterday rather, is that those 20% off all Gudamaya ships, that this goes from now until next Thursday. So do it Wednesday. Don't risk it. Just say it goes from now till next Wednesday so that you won't miss out. 20% off. Go buy some cutter hulls. Go buy some clipper hulls. Go buy some courier hulls and have them, because 20% off means that not only, so you can go to a Leon Reese system, it gives it another 20. Now it's 40% off. Not only are
15.
you going to save, what?
It's 15 for a total of 35%.
Okay, there you go. So not only are you saving 35% when you purchase it the first time, but you're saving 35% off of all of your future purchase, like rebuys. So when you die, your kill mail, it's going to be less. That's good news. I keep calling it kill mail, like from Eve, whatever. That's huge, and that so yesterday, 2 waves of a thing from 2 weeks ago hit and a thing from last week hit, that again making the universe dynamic and vibrant. Also yesterday, what started was the new CG, and I'm just going to paraphrase this and break this down because we're not going to go into all the nitty gritty. But the Empire, in the form of Denton Petraeus, is making claims, accusations that that his investigation shows that the people behind the neo-Marlinist thing is
Attacks on the stations.
Yeah. The behind all of that is the Eurybia Blue Mafia, and more specifically Liz Ryder. And he points out as reasoning for this that she does the whatever, the missile racks, the corrosive, that have the corrosive damage that like the Thargoids use, that was he is asserting that is what was used. Now obviously some kind of Thargoid stuff was used, but he's saying that it came from them, that they track shipments and this, that, and the other, and yada yada yada, and all that stuff. So he is starting up this combat to like bring her to justice and yada yada. And then on her side, they're like, this is absolute bullshit. We didn't do none of that stuff, and we're gonna fight yada yada. So now there's a combat CG that is active. It started yesterday. Sign up for it, go to the places, get involved in the fight, pick a side. I think there is 0% chance that Liz Ryder's side loses. I think they are absolutely going to win this one. They're going to win it by a mile, but it's super interesting nonetheless. Now, let's talk about this new CG and some interesting ramifications of this interesting CG. So, and I'm going to read to you specifically from the actual CG, and it says, and I'm going to put this right here in the channel. Last minute, sorry, Arson. I'm throwing this link because I want you to specifically show this link on the screen, Arson. It is right now in the recording booth. So when you scroll to this link, it says, and I quote, I'm skipping most of it and getting down to the part that's interesting. If victorious, for the Liz Ryder side reward, if victorious, supporters ending in the top 75% of contributors will have a fully engineered, lightweight, and high capacity Class 2 Seeker missile rack with thermal cascade put into storage for them at the Awiria Flurble Starport by the 10th of October, 3306. Now, let's take a moment and look at that. This clearly indicates that this reward will be a first in Elite, as far as I know.
I was going to say, I've never seen this before.
This is a module that is fully engineered for 2 primary attributes. It is high cap level 5 and lightweight level 5, as well as having an experimental effect on it. So this has never been done before at all, as far as I know. Now, does this indicate the possibility for dual engineering coming in either as a thing that players can direct or just through various rewards? That to me is super interesting. I'm not sure that I'm for it. I'm not sure that the idea of, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you put it in there, I'm for sure going to do it. Talk about beam lasers with long range and overcharge, and then thermal vent it so that you're just getting up massive heat and then dumping that on somebody. Or instead of thermal vent, you could do that thermal conduit so that you what is it, thermal something, the one that where if you're overheating you do like plus 60% damage to the enemy.
Conduit.
Yeah. Or imagine having a ship that's loaded with pack hounds that are both lightweight and high capacity. What?
Yep.
Holy shit!
I've already
Efficient
been
long
out
range.
there. Because of this being a first in the game, I'm in the top 50%. And if it stays that way, I'm getting this module because why wouldn't you? A free, fully engineered module with 2 primaries, unheard of.
This mission has 3 things on here to me that are precedents, that are important, that I've never seen before in a community goal. Number 1, if the Empire wins, by the way, ain't gonna happen, but if the Empire wins, it says clearly in their win condition that what will happen is Liz Ryder goes away. She ain't around no more. So she'll be arrested and whatever, and they will replace her with an engineer that is an Empire citizen. Who knows what the hell that means? Like,
which means we'll have to rank up all over again, I would imagine.
Maybe or maybe not. Maybe it's just that the name changes and it's the same, it's going to be the same missile racks, the same shit, but it's just an Empire citizen now. Or maybe it means you get whole new engineers. Or maybe, I think it actually says in the thing that you won't have to rank up again. Those people that have it already will still have access. So it doesn't mean that, but like it means we've never seen an engineer be in peril in this game. Again,
right.
This is a live,
Professor
breathing
Palin has.
fucking world. Palin was in a little bit in that he was missing, but then whatever. I'm talking about, they're saying flat out, this person will be removed from the game. Like, will be removed.
Arrested.
That's way more. That's not just short-term storyline. That's real peril.
Yeah.
Players are picking.
And this leads to my thought of all-out galactic war, too, really. This is pushing that way, it feels like.
What this shows to me is, we're seeing power play characters that are in peril. Like shit is like, you don't know. This is Game of Thrones time. This is not fucking, old school, MASH or whatever, where it's like, oh, what's going to happen to the Dukes of Hazzard this week? They're going to be fine. They're always fine. Shut the fuck up. But no, like the reason why people fell in love with 24 is, spoiler alert for a show that's way the fuck old, at the end of the first season they straight up killed the wife, right? And it was like, oh shit, you could do that. The reason why people fell in love with Game of Thrones is because they were, right away they pushed the little boy right out the window. They're killing people like that.
3 episodes in, the main character's gone, right? Yeah,
that gives you a real feeling of peril and like, you did what? Like, this to me is all good because they're like, hey, number 1, an engineer is at risk, and you guys decide right now her fate. That's fucking amazing. So that's number 1 precedent. Number 2, oh, by the way, we're going to give out an engineered module. That's never happened before on a CG. That's precedent number 2. Precedent number 3, oh, by the way, it's double engineered. What the fuck? Because I've heard from the community, from some people, that they're like, man, I'm glad CGs are back, but like, meh. It's like, I don't really want to do them. Okay, fine. But look at what we're talking about. This is, as of yesterday, 3 massive things happened. 1, the footprint of the entire galaxy changed, and that the populations changed, the BGS changed, and 10 big stations popped up. We did that. 2, Akinar permit just happened and ships are on sale and people are getting them. We did that. 3, this big, thing is going to happen and an engineer is in peril, but not really, but in peril, and new engineering type thing. What? All right. Arson, your thoughts on all of this CG shit, and throw in a salute to Galnet because they're fucking awesome.
07. As far as the CGs are concerned, I feel like This is a period of time where they're basically making a point to let us know we can give you things as rewards well beyond just a credit balance increase or decal. And I think that is fantastic. I gotta say, I really like the idea of double engineering. I'm curious if that is just a one-off at the moment, or if they're planning on more generally unlocking that for us. I really like the idea of being able to take my long-range beams and add efficient to it. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Tweet.
Yeah, I love props. Hats off to FDev because the Galnet has been cooking ever since it started back up again. I mean, cooking. And like you said, this is borderline epic storytelling now that we have major players in the galaxy in peril, in serious peril. And again, props to FDev because I didn't partake in a lot of the community goals, but I always paid attention to them back before they disappeared. I never saw, there were some paint jobs and some money and some different things here or there. I never saw rewards as good as 20% off Gudamaya ships or a double primary, fully grade 5 engineered module. Never have I seen that in this game. So props to FDev for raising the rewards because that gets me out there a lot more than just some credits and some minor things. This kind of stuff gets me out there. I couldn't get out to the last one because I had a lot of BGS flyers to put out. This one, when I saw the reward for this, I got right out there late last night and got myself on the board.
Yeah, I just want to say, don't get me wrong. I'm not even sure I'm a fan of the idea of double engineering. Like I said, I feel like engineering changed the game a bit, and I'm not sure if going down that road further or whatever. But I mean, if they're going to do it, it's like,
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
less
I
people
don't
in
want to.
America. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't want to see double engineering opened up for us. I don't want to be able to go to the engineer and decide to pick two of the primaries myself, but I don't mind every now and then getting a special give me for a community goal like this from FDev. If it's just an occasional thing like this, I think that makes it much more valuable and much better in my opinion.
All right, let's see here. I'm trying to do two things here. Okay, good. I'm not muted. All right. Now I want to go into, this is going to be a quick fire thing, but I want to talk about a couple of things that I got specific information from Frontier about. This is a thing that we've, other content creators have discussed. So I want to go through it as well. So let's see. All right. For the addition of ground ports that we can walk through, are we only able to walk through the new atmospheric planets, or should we expect existing non-atmospheric planets, ground bases, structures to be upgraded, changed, so that they also have the same interactivity? The answer to that question is Odyssey will allow on-foot exploration of planets without atmospheres, those landable in horizons. The ground ports found in those planets will also be upgraded. We will also be able to see other people. Will we also be able to see other people moving on the surface? Yes, of course. You'll be able to see and interact and fight with other players. These are, they're answering specific questions, and I definitely want to, acknowledge that. With the addition of Apex Interstellar, could a player play the game entirely on foot and never board a ship of their own and just play the game as a non-flight sim in essence? Yes, absolutely. New players can play the game without ever flying their own ship, but there will, of course, be areas of the galaxy that those players won't be able to reach. These are a lot of these are like sort of. These are, okay, that one specifically we have heard from Art as well, but I wanna bring these up here. In the beginning, you mentioned the various suits designed for various gameplay. Just to be 100% sure, if I pick a mining suit, I'm not locked into that suit, meaning I can later go and switch over to a more combat focused suit if I like. The suit is something you choose to wear rather than something that you are bound to. Odyssey players can change between suits, but most will have a favorite that they upgrade to its full potential. Again, as Luke stated, these are your ships, so you're going to have multiples and whatever. And yeah, there probably are. You're going to have your sort of base one that you use most of the time, but you can also pull out other ones. They did say that with regard to Apex, that travel between stations won't be instant. It'll be like taking a journey in a passenger vessel. As for the exact time required, we aren't ready to share right now. That's, again, I think they're still tweaking it and they're getting it to about the right level. And I encourage them, don't commit to something up front, get it right. And then when it's right, and I think that this will come down to beta, that it'll probably get tweaked a little more here and there as well. When we asked them with regard to the currency situation, how is this going to work? Because if you remember, I've talked a long time ago that saying like this doesn't make any sense, because if you can afford for all those of us that have billions, there's no way that a gun or a jetpack or a suit is going to cost billions of ISK or credits. So like, it doesn't sort of make sense unless you have to come up with some new currency, whether it's, like the engineering Ryan has those mats or whether it's planetary dollars or like there has to be something. And of course they confirm that there will be other valuable items requested in trade. More on this later. I think this is going to be what you have that you're going out and scavenging and stuff. You're gonna, I need, again, like engineering mats. I need, this many pharmaceutical isolators and not pharmaceutical isolators. I'm just throwing that out as a placeholder name. But not pharmaceutical isolators, but pharmaceutical reciprocators, some new shit. But like, I can find this on combat type Rex, or I can find this on cargo type Rex, or whatever. When we asked specifically, are there other base suits or whatever that we don't know of yet, we got the answer. There are 3 base suit types which are geared, balanced towards different activities. These suits will be upgradable through various means. So that tells us right now, it's not like, they're going to announce a 4th or 5th base suit type. These are the suit types. When asked, like, how is it going to work with regard to when you fly in the ship, the answer was, like for the Apex Interstellar, you will have a seat on the bridge similar to multi-crew experience today. So you'll be sitting there and looking out. I'm super interested to find out, can those ships be attacked? How does that work? What happens? That's super, super interesting to me, and I want to see an answer to that. We asked, where do the suits go? How does that work as far as, where do you have access to them or whatever? And the answer was, your suits are available in any ship, including Apex vessels, in SRVs, and from terminals within social spaces. So if you need to change your outfit, I need to go to my combat suit, or I need to go to my exploration suit, or whatever, you can, when you're in any ship, including taking a taxi ride, you can change it. Your luggage is with you. If you're driving around in your SRV, you got it in the trunk. You got some junk in the trunk, whatever. And if you're in the city, you can go to a spot where it's like, here's my locker and I got it there. So you'll have access to them anywhere. When asked specifically, would there be modules for the suits? The answer is correct. Absolutely. All of the base suits have utility add-ons that players earn up through playing the game. We'll reveal more on this later. So yeah, again, I feel like there's going to be some corollary to engineering here, and there's going to be, so it might be that you have to do certain types of missions to just even unlock a module. It's just the same way as you can't use a Guardian frameshift drive booster right when you start. You have to go and do the stuff to unlock that. It's going to be all of that in there. When asked, like, hey, or are we going to be forced to go into the town to pick up the stuff? Absolutely not. Cockpit mission boards will remain functional. We'll go deeper into the types of missions you get to see on each board later in the campaign. So you may have to go in to get certain missions, certain of the footy bit missions, but you can still get, it's not like that's going away and they're going to force you into it. Are you planning for Odyssey only tier of new players to the game who perhaps don't wish to fly spaceships? Like, so basically, I think to sum it up is like, is it possible that somebody could buy Odyssey without the base game? No, there's no plans for that currently. They were asked about emotes, and the answer was nothing to announce with regard to emotes right now. So, wait and see. They'll talk about it later. When asked, can you give us more information about the different types of stores? The answer was, Pioneer Supplies, general outfitters of weapons, spacesuits, and related consumables. Inter Astra is the shipyard where players can preview and purchase starships. Frontline Solutions, a mercenary outfit, just like we said, will allow players to explore combat scenarios without necessarily aligning with a given faction in the game world. Apex Interstellar is your taxi service. Vista Genomics, an exobiologist to whom players will trade the genetics. So this is all the information straight from the Charlie Hall interview as well. So this is confirmation again. That's a good interview from Polygon. The black market, while black market contexts already exist in the game, this is where players will be able to fence new kinds of stolen and illicit goods available in Odyssey. Okay. They were asked, hey, I think this was a Star Citizen type question, like, hey, sometimes it seems like it's far away to get from one place to another, et cetera, et cetera. And they said, look, the social hubs will be built for efficiency, the quest givers and vendors positions in roughly the same area. There'll be elevators that move commanders around the station. That's interesting. I had not heard that elevator terminology before, but it makes sense. Concept art for these can be seen in the diary. Yep, they did show that in the concept art of so we have confirmation that thing behind the Vista Genomic, or not Vista, the Apex Interstellar is in fact elevators. They were asked, hey, what if somebody wants to do a second commander profile now that they have all this new footy stuff? Or are you going to give us a, second commander profile on our account? This isn't currently planned. Look, play the game, right? And in 6 months, pony up $14 to get it on sale or whatever. If you want a second account, whatever. It's not that big a deal. Again, they confirm they're not taking away any functionality with regard to the missions. Okay, this one is an interesting question. It was asked, is there like a capital city type major super hubs, major super big, kind of things? And the answer is, we don't have anything to share about that right now, which is not a no. I think that's not a thing that's coming on launch. I think that's a thing that's coming 6 months to a year down the road in Odyssey, but we'll see. They did confirm that it's first person only. So you're going to be your mode for the footy bits. It's going to be first person. It's not third person. Sorry, tweet.
I just want to say absolutely thank you, because the biggest issue, hands down, in any first-person shooter with third-person and first-person options is that if you want to be immersed and third-person is an option, people just use it and look over crates without exposing themselves. And
yeah, and around
combat
walls
and
and so.
yeah, and I'm glad that that's not going to be a thing. And
But
Frontier,
on the
thank you.
opposite side of that, most first-person shooters that I've played don't allow you to take true cover behind walls and shoot around corners and things like that, which I find totally unrealistic in gunplay. Because if I were in a gunfight, I'd be hiding behind walls and doorways and peeking around and shooting when I could and everything. So I hope they find a way to allow us to do that kind of stuff.
We'll see. They're going to give us we
I
don't know. They're going to give us a full dev diary on that. We'll hop into it then.
Yeah, I do hope for stances like Arma though, because Arma, you can do third person in there, but you can move your character's stance in ways that are realistic for actual CQB combat in real life, and it's a really great implementation, and I hope they do something similar to that for it.
So, the other thing, the last thing that I want to hit on is that Frontier said that there's actually going to be a mixture of text and voice acted voiceover work with regard to NPC interactions. So that's the last that I want to hit on that. I wanted to make sure that this is all information that I did not get from a Polygon article or from this, that, and the other. This is information from Frontier directly that I'm able to share with you to hopefully sort of clear up any questions or whatever that people might have lingering. I know there are many, many more questions, and Frontier will have many, many more answers coming. There's a whole thing that they've been collecting them, and that's a big mega response is being sort of put together. Keep in mind, they're not going to answer everything because some of the questions are like, yeah, that's Dev Diary 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. That's not coming yet. All right. And let me just go through this list. I have a cheat sheet checklist that I want to just confirm. We got everything. Let's see. Suits can be upgraded and customized. Yes. They can be collected, not just keeping one at a time. Yes, we got that. Multiple copies of the same suit can be upgraded differently. Yes. 3 types of social hubs. Yes. Talk face-to-face with mission givers. Yes. Some NPCs will be voice acted. We can negotiate on our missions. We covered that. Negotiation success dependent on your reputation, influence, experience, faction status. Combat and non-combat missions. Many missions located you can simply walk to. Some missions you will need to travel via your ship or Apex. Apex travel will be discussed. Well, they already discussed it completely. Missions can have items that need collecting. Scavenger missions available. You can search, scan an area for wreckage and loot. Okay, boxes to be searched, unlocked, looted. Items carried to ship or large ones picked up in SRV. That does actually sort of strengthen your argument, Arson, with regard to,
The Dropbox.
sort of loot. Yeah. NPCs can attack you unprovoked. So just like if you fly in, if you got bad rep with a station and you fly in there and they open fire on you, it could be the same thing. If you walk into a town and they scan you, I'm picturing, how the guys got scanned in the first season of what do you call it, The Expanse, where I'm not going to say who, but a group of people show up and they're like scan the neck chip or whatever, and they're like beep. I think when you saw in that settlement there, you saw the scanner and the guard right there with the whatever. If you walk in there and you're not using stealth, you walk right in through the front door, they scan you. If it comes up like, oh, you're kill on sight, shit's going to be bad for you. So you're going to need to, use some subterfuge and some stealth and sneak in or full on assault the place or have somebody else go in there or whatever. So yeah, you didn't do shit, but they don't like you enough. They're going to straight up attack you.
Totally love that. Makes it dangerous.
Yeah. Let's see. Space Legs version of CQC we talked about. Seamless walking in and out of the hangar. That is huge to me. So the other thing is that we didn't talk about it a whole lot. We talked about the whole going in and out of your ship, but you're going to be able to just walk around your ship in the hangar, which to me, again, is interesting, and it leads me to think like, all right, so we've never been able to sort of, well, I mean, you could park on a planet somewhere and look around, but in the hangar, it's a whole different thing, and I don't know. I'm at this point, I'm a child. I'm excited by everything. New rank of exobiologist. That was from the first dev diary. Ships will be visible through the port glass. I don't think, though, that the inside the port will be visible from the ship. I think that's a different thing. Motion cap is used to get fluid human motion, then cleaned up. They have that post animation stuff. Plus hand key animations used where needed and appropriate. No plans to change in-cockpit animations for Odyssey. No answer for emotes at this time. Yeah, that makes, like we already said. A lot of different weapons and animations. Tons of info to come over the coming months. Odyssey is the largest update Elite has ever had, obviously. I come back to that cross-platform thing. Nothing to talk about right now. That excites the fuck out of me because that's way better than a no. Nothing to announce about SRVs right now. I'm telling you, there's more SRVs. It's got to be. My gut is just screaming it. Yeah, I think we covered all of this. I think I'm going over the checklist, and I'm sorry, I'm just going through a lot here. But we're gonna open up to just a quick conversation here. Transaction. Yeah, we got every last one of them. All right, so now I feel like I've talked for a good long bit and covered a lot of stuff. Arson, your thoughts on any and all of it, or anything you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the basic rimlock suit that we already have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, really curious. And can that be modded too? Because I like the way it looks, and I like the outfits and all that stuff. And you see people walking around stations with their guns out and their full combat suits and all that stuff. But what if I just want to be in my pilot suit? Am I going to basically be the equivalent to naked? Or can I actually amp that up a little bit? Maybe have a little bit of initial defense if something spews off so I can pistolier them with my pistol or something. Just food for thought there.
If I had to bet, I would say that no. Your ship suit is for ship purposes. The purpose of that is to give you, if the canopy blows, to give you protection or whatever. I think that the three types that they mentioned are going to be, I think what you're going to probably roll in normally is your exploration suit, Arson. But that's just a guess. Tweaked?
Yeah, I'm super curious to see how the NPCs are populated by the BGS and how that all comes into play with everything. OPIX is in 6 systems right now, almost 7, or maybe it's 7, almost 8, losing track now. But anyways, we're in a few different systems, and I'm very curious to see the tone and timbre of the stations and what our NPCs sound like, look like, all that kind of stuff. And then the difference between OPIX NPCs and a different independent factions NPCs and the empires and the alliance, and it's going to bring so much color to this game. I'm totally stoked for it.
100%. Yeah, guys, it's 10:44, man. I think we put out a lot. We're going to skip, like I said, everything else. I'm just going to say this. State of the game is fucking amazing for me. I could not be more pleased. Arson?
I gotta say, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I'm so hyped. I have wanted, and have been dying for a first-person game that I could play that I would be satisfied with. And there's nothing out there that's persistent, and I feel like uh, Elite is finally giving us that with Odyssey, and I think that's titillating.
He said tit. Tweaked?
Yeah, I would have to agree with everything there. This week, this dev diary, seeing this video of the stations and getting this news that all the stations in the whole galaxy are going to be able to do this. To me, this is the best news we could have gotten for Odyssey right now. It's going to bring the life to the galaxy that it's sadly been missing. We're going to walk into stations and we're going to see life all over the place, just like you do on Red Dead Redemption 2 when you walk into a town. It's so exciting the direction this is going, and just think, as excited as we are for this and as ready as I bet you just about everybody listening right now is to pony up some money to FDev to pre-order this, there's still so much more they haven't shown us that's coming.
Let me tell you, when you talk about ponying up money, here's what screams to me is that you're going to have a lot of people that are going to roll around to a place in a exploration suit or just a Remlock suit, like real light in the I'm talking about in the town when you're just walking around in the station, right? That they're also going to have like over it, they're going to have like clothes. They're going to have, jeans and a leather jacket or this kind of, like a suit that looks like a tuxedo, or a suit that looks like this, or a suit that looks like, mine looks like Han Solo. Well, mine looks like the fucking dude from Mass Effect, or mine looks like this, or mine looks like that. They're gonna have so much shit on the store that you can buy where it's like, I want boots that light up. Well, I want gloves that are, have that look like the onion head thing where it like is like black, but that yellow neon or whatever the hell you call that stuff. There's gonna be so many things to buy in the store, man. And you know what? God bless them, because I love a company that they're like, we're not going to go pay to win. We're going to go pay to be pretty. You want to do that?
Right.
That's fine.
Yep.
You don't want to? That's fine. But it doesn't hurt anybody's gameplay at all. It's just, I want to be a pimp. I want a fuzzy bear. I literally want a pimp hat. Okay. Well,
And I've already spent arcs on an outfit that I never see. My character is a smuggler / gunslinger kind of outfit on, and you can't see it. A little bit of the legs or the arms when I'm moving around in the cockpit, but I'm looking forward to being able to walk around that way.
I dig it. I'm watching the screen and I'm watching Arson setting up to murder somebody. And I don't know what the story is because I wasn't watching before, but he is legit ready to pounce. He's like a cat that's just, all right, we got to get out of here. It's we've been going for too long. I'm drained. I hope you all had a fun time. I for sure did. And hopefully you guys learned some things, and hopefully you're hyped. So put a note in the comments section of the video if you're hyped, what you're excited for, what you're worried about. What do you think about this? The CG, this is craziness, and all of these different things. I really want to get some player interaction going. Next week we will be back to having, player feedback and all of these other segments. But this week we just wanted to go balls deep on this amazing fucking week of news that we had. I hope you enjoyed it. Everyone, be excellent to each other. Tweaked, say your thing.
Everybody have a great night and get excited, because Odyssey is going to knock it out of the park, and this game is going to be everything and more that we dreamed.
Arson, while you're murdering that guy, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Goodbye, beautiful people.
All right. Good night, everybody. Arson, play us out.